testimony from both sides last year, the JSC says it considered the impact of Mbenenge's conduct on the workplace and on public confidence in the judiciary. The JSC has further criticised the tribunal for largely focusing on the conduct of the complainant without giving consideration to the conduct of the judge and whether he appreciated that it was inappropriate and unacceptable. Parliament's Justice Committee is currently considering impeachment against 2 judges, and this case is now also set to land on their desks. An impeachment requires a 2/3 majority vote from MPs. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The EFF says its leader, Julius Malema's prison sentence, will not affect the party's performance at the upcoming local government elections. The Gugompo Magistrates Court yesterday slapped Malema with a 5-year direct imprisonment sentence after being found guilty of violating gun laws. Malema was last year convicted for firing a rifle at a public rally in 2018. He remains a free man pending his bid to appeal the sentence at the Eastern Cape High Court. Alfara Mushwana reports from the Eastern Cape.
In the last general election, one of the setbacks the EFF faced was the rise of the MK party, which saw its support drop to 9% in Parliament. There have been suggestions that Julius Malema's sentence could present another major challenge, potentially impacting the EFF's performance in the upcoming municipal polls. However, EFF Deputy Secretary General Leon Matthys says the party will weather the storm despite the cloud hanging over Malema's head.
I mean, as you know, justice is very long in this country. You saw that we've been here in this court for like almost 7 years. So by the time we even get to Concord, elections will be long over by then.
She doubts voters will even consider Malema's conviction when marking the ballot paper.
And I think there's no sober South African that takes this process and even this conviction serious.
Malema is appealing his sentence at the Eastern Cape High Court. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Kukompo in the Eastern Cape.
Suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police top cop Julius Mkhwanazi has pleaded ignorance to supplying emergency blue lights to a wealthy businessman. It was revealed at the Madlanga Commission that Mike van Wyk repeatedly asked Mkhwanazi for the lights for his personal and company cars. Van Wyk is a close associate of suspected crime cartel boss Vosmuzi Cat Matlala. Tabiso Goba has more.
In 2021, as the AMPD Deputy Chief, Julius Mkhwanazi signed a memorandum of understanding that was between the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department and 2 companies owned by Mark van Wyk, Medicare 24 and Anubis Protection Services. The MOU appointed Medicare 24 and Anubis staff as peace officers and also permitted their cars to be fitted with emergency blue and red lights. While Mkhwanazi acknowledges signing the MOU, he says he doesn't have the power to issue blue and red lights. Yesterday, several voice notes were played at the Madlanga Commission of Van Wyk either requesting blue lights or peace officer cards from Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi says he cannot recall the voice notes, prompting this frustrated response from Co-Commissioner Sesi Baloyi.
You're not being truthful. Again, when you say, I don't remember, in fact, you're just continuing in this consistent, evasive responses to questions where you say, well, I don't remember. Here you must remember because you responded.
No, I don't deny that I communicated. It's just that I don't remember that.
Mkhwanazi will return to the Madlanga Commission at a later date. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And Lebanon's army has reported acts of aggression by Israel that it says violates a ceasefire which took effect at midnight. The army posted on X and called on its residents in the south to be cautious. Lebanon and Israel agreed to a ceasefire as US President Donald Trump says he's trying to set up the first ever face-to-face meeting between the leaders of the 2 countries. The Middle East war began when the US and Israel attacked Iran on February 28, and Lebanon was pulled in when Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel. Since then, Israeli strikes in Lebanon have killed more than 2,000 people and displaced more than 1 million, while Israeli ground forces have invaded the country's south. Trump says the truce came after excellent phone calls with the Israeli Prime Minister and the Lebanese President.
We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the President of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire. I think we will have an agreement between Lebanon, and they're going to take care of Hezbollah. But they're going to be working on Hezbollah right now. But we'll have an agreement between Israel, very importantly, and Lebanon.
Gold is trading at $4,794.22 an ounce. The rand is at 16.42 to the dollar, 22.20 to the pound, 19.35 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $98.39 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is due to roadworks that are taking place between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South leaving Midrand. This is due to an accident. It's causing delays coming out of the Allendale Road off-ramp towards the Baklu turnoff.
And in your sport, the Proteas women take on India tonight in the first of 5 T20s. Huge pressure for Mamelodi Sundowns tomorrow, 90 minutes away from the CAF Champions League final. Aston Villa to meet Nottingham Forest in the Europa League semi-final, and Quinton de Kock smashes a century, but the Mumbai Indians still lost to Punjab Kings by 7 wickets.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg and Vereeniging both starting at 14 degrees, peaking at 25. Pretoria 16 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. The Judicial Service Commission says it does not believe Eastern Cape High Court Judge President Selbie Mbenenge appreciates the responsibility associated with his position and the power imbalance it creates in the work environment.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Small business owners speak a language of their own, and it's a language MTN Business and 702 understand very well. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Enter now on Prime Media Plus. Let's talk shop.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 6 o'clock, it is Friday, the 17th of April, the year of our Lord, 2026. Today, we look at that verdict, not just the verdict, I suppose, the sentencing and the appeal for Julius Malema. What happens next? And what do you think his reaction to all of this says about the man? You've heard me all week struggle with the fact that this is what they got him on. Right? This is what will potentially end or derail his political career and influence in this country. Regardless, we are now here. He still insisted it was a toy gun, despite the ballistics evidence, despite the footage, despite the fact that even in his own version, he did fire the weapon. Right? What does that tell you about his understanding of accountability? You heard in that news clip there, one of the leaders of the EFF saying, any sober-minded South African won't take this process seriously. Huh? You might disagree with it, but you don't want to cast aspersions on the courts, do you? People killed for their jobs, lawyers, accountants, auditors, and all for flagging irregularities in public entities. Over the last 3 months, at least 10 have been gunned in broad daylight. Why are those cases running cold?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
But of course, tradition is tradition. It is a Friday. I'm not alone on the show today, always. Producers behind the scenes, Siamtanda, Ropfiwa, and Karabo, and of course KG starting the clock. Amoramila is here. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning, Bongs. Good morning, 702 Lindas.
Muteo Faripe is here. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Bongs.
Gosh, you've made it, hey? To the end of the week.
This is one of those Fridays where I feel like it's a Friday.
Well, it's not getting your way. 1, 2, 3.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's a Friday.
I've got a shout out this morning. I want to know, how easily do you walk back your mistakes, and what do you do? How do you react or respond to people who double down on theirs? So you've been found to have said something wrong, or you were incorrect about this or that. How easily do you admit that, oh, oopsie, okay, my bad? And what do you do when someone, despite very clear evidence, refuses to admit they were wrong? Mateo?
On your first question, it's absolutely embarrassing sometimes.
And it's hard
especially
to say,
in our line of work.
You're sorry, you got something wrong. And if it's family, if it's your kids, you'll try and make amends and not actually say that I'm sorry, right? But when someone doubled down and they've made the mistake and they double down on it, you often do get angry and you want to, talk it out. But when it's you, I've had those moments where I'm just like, you have the smile like, yeah, I was wrong. I don't want to say it.
But, okay, yeah.
No.
I can see you do that.
Do what?
Okay, yeah.
No, never.
Mm-hmm,
Never.
I can certainly see it.
I've got a really fun story.
Mm-hmm.
You know how sometimes we'll do a shout out and we say we'll tell you later?
Yeah.
This one is too delicious. It's too...
Tell you now.
Wait, I gotta tell you now. Remember the movie Pulp Fiction by Quentin Tarantino? There's a memorable scene where a character played by Samuel L. Jackson is about to execute a man, and he's got a gun. And he quotes from what the movie wants you to believe is a Bible verse. And the character played by Samuel L. Jackson is one Ezekiel. So therefore, it makes sense that even though he's an assassin, this character called Ezekiel would quote extensively from the book of Ezekiel in the Bible. And so he's about to execute a man, and he has this very memorable, lengthy speech, which Tarantino wrote. And Pulp Fiction wants to present that as something from the book of Ezekiel. Part of it is, and Tarantino, being the talented writer-director that he is, kind of put together a hodgepodge mix of different verses and threw them all in there, and it all sounded biblical enough, and Samuel Jackson delivers it well enough. And so many people thought that's what Ezekiel 25:17 actually says. It does not. Except the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth didn't get that memo. So he was at an event where they were essentially looking back on that rescue mission. Remember, there were those two pilots who were shot down over Iran and had to be rescued, right? So their special rescue mission was called the Sandy 1 Combat Search and Rescue Mission in Iran. So following the success of it, he's there at an event and they're congratulating the troops and the fact that they were able to get these guys behind enemy lines. And Pete Hegseth, being the religious man and the spiritual man that he is, decides it's time for a prayer. And what prayer might he quote, do you think?
No.
You say, I couldn't wait. He quotes Ezekiel 25, except it's the Pulp Fiction version, and he does so absolutely seriously. In fact, he is so sure he's got it right. So remember, this is called the Sandy 1 Combat Search and Rescue Mission, right? So they shorten it down to CSAR, C-S-A-R, Combat Search and Rescue Mission, right? And instead of calling it Ezekiel 25, he calls it Caesar 25:17. So some really creative person on social media has been able to put the two together. So you hear Sam Jackson and you hear Pete Hegseth's adaptation of that scene from Pulp Fiction. Have a listen to what he says there. It's really quite extraordinary. This happened at this worship service on Wednesday. And as he begins, by the way, Pete Hegseth says, let's pray. So you know he thinks it's the real thing, right? Have a listen.
The world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants, yet is held together by a multitude of supportive brothers and sisters. Jesus told us, blessed are the peacemakers, but woe to those...
Oh, that's the wrong clip. We want the Pete Hegseth one. That's Pope Leo. We'll come back to Pope Leo in just a moment. Have you got it now, KG? There we
Ezekiel 25:17.
Ezekiel 25:17.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides.
The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides.
By the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
By the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness.
Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness.
For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Yeah, ne? For your information, the actual Ezekiel 25 passage says, I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. That's all it says in Ezekiel 25, verse 17. Pete Hegseth, making that mistake earlier in the week, he's doubled down on it, of course, because of the ridicule that he has since faced. And the Pentagon has issued a statement saying, of course he knew it was from Pulp Fiction. He knew he was quoting Ezekiel from Pulp Fiction. He didn't think he was quoting the Bible.
So he's just a movie buff.
But you also have to wonder why he would say, let's pray, if he thought he was quoting a fake verse from a movie. Again, I ask you, how easily do you walk back your mistakes? And what do you do with those who double down on theirs?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Julius Malema, of course, yesterday sentenced to an effective 5 years in prison. It's been the talk of all of South Africa. He still insists, does the EFF leader, that the magistrate was a racist woman and that's why he was targeted. This is all a racist campaign against him. What do you make of his reaction and the fact that, of course, he was not given leave to appeal the conviction, but only the sentence? So as one of our WhatsApp voice notes, I think, said yesterday, he's a convicted criminal. That will remain. The question now is how he gets punished. That's what's at issue. What did you make of it? Let's talk.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
Muteo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you and the 702 landers this morning, is there a brand or product that once lost you as a customer, but eventually won you back?
Ooh, they don't usually get me back. Sorry.
Even nostalgia, you don't go back to a brand because you loved it as a kid?
Then it never lost me.
You stop buying it. If you stop buying it, then it's lost.
You know, sometimes you forget about it because you grow up and because life changes. Do you know what I mean? But your affinity for it never went away.
You're not paying, man. Amo?
It's definitely Lego. I mean, I grew up loving Lego to the bits. I would, everything they would release, I would try and make my way towards getting it and whatever. Then I think if I outgrew it, right, because of adulthood and what have you.
You thought it was a toy.
I thought it was a toy, but then they later won me back with the flower Lego, and Lego is not a toy, it's a collective.
It's a toy.
Mm-mm.
The fact that adults play it and enjoy it, and it's still challenging and stimulating, it's still a toy.
Mm-mm.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
What conditions can you expect on this Friday and I suppose the start of the weekend? A cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Scattered showers and thunder showers are expected. Temperatures peaking at 25 in Johannesburg and Vereeniging, so definitely warmer than earlier in the week. 27 is your maximum in Pretoria. 16 in Cape Town, so a bit of a miserable cloudy day in Cape Town. 27 your high in Bombela. Mahikeng is 24. Bloemfontein 22. Durban picks at a lovely 30 degrees, but you can still expect showers there. Gqeberha is 23. East London, or should we now say Kukombo? What happened to Monty? It's 28. Kimberley, 24.
EWN Traffic.
21 after 6. Amon, let's have a look at the roads. What are you seeing?
Well, Bongani, an accident in Pinoni on the N12 West. It happened right near Snake Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout. They're about a 20-minute hold up already. Please try to avoid this one. You can still use the N17 through Boksburg as well as the R21 while traveling on the N3 North. Remember, those roadworks that are taking place right near the Baku interchange are still there. Delays between Marlborough Drive and the Baku turnoff. And then, of course, an accident in Waterfall on the N1 South approaching the Baku turnoff. So about a 15-minute hold up there coming out of Islandale Road. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, my name is Linda. I'm from Bel-Air Park. I'm a 702 lander, big fan of all the shows, and I'm definitely listening today, and I'll definitely be listening tomorrow.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Hi, this is Anlia Itzebet, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. A reminder that you can still shoot for the stars while playing responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
What's with the camouflage, Dorf? I'm going hunting. Just me, nature, and my most underrated off-roader, a rental car. Hunting? You could fit that little car in your backpack, Dorf. I sit in the driver's seat. Baggage at the back, chairs on the roof. The kudu is going to get in and strap its own seatbelt, Savvy. Could do with more legroom, Dorf. Go hunt for a new 4x4 at Weebuck Cars. They got great deals. Oh, shot, Savvy.
Don't be Dorf, be savvy. We buy cars geared for that big trip, geared for you.
.702 and MTN Business are celebrating small business owners who really walk that entrepreneurial talk, proving that big things can grow from bold ideas. It's the 702 MTN Small Business Awards, and standout SMEs are stepping into the spotlight, from the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between. Tune into 702 Breakfast and Afternoon Drive every weekday to meet some of the finalists and hear their stories. And if you're running a small business or know one that should be a part of this conversation, you can still enter or nominate them at primemediaplus.com. Because the next business we talk about could be yours. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. T's, C's and more on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Hey, morning, Bongs. Obrin Fosloras. It's a Friday. Bongani, you know, it's very disappointing from the convicted criminal Julius Malema. You know, those people he offended are his supporters. The convicted criminal was supposed to go to M. Danzani 2 years in the trial to go and apologize to his supporters and then repent, make a vegetable garden, plant 2 beetroots for them, to show that he's really sympathetic for what he has done for putting their life in danger. We're not going to be here today. Today we are here. He's a convicted criminal. Because of what? His arrogance. If he could have planted even 1 tomato for the whole community, they were going to forgive him and sign a petition to say we forgive you. Thank you, Bongani.
I don't know if that would have had any weight as far as the court is concerned. The difficulty with all of these things is that it happened in public and it's just unavoidable. Yes, he's dodged prison, but that's only for now.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
25 after 6, things you need to know at this. It's been such a busy week because, of course, we've also got that Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge matter. He's now likely, or at least a little closer to facing impeachment after the Judicial Service Commission found him guilty of sexual harassment and gross misconduct. That ruling overturned an earlier decision by the Judicial Service Tribunal that had cleared him of the most serious charge. You remember, of course, those inappropriate exchanges between himself and a court employee that raised serious concerns about Mbenenge's abuse of power. Ever skipped something important to attend something else and thought nobody would notice, and then it backfired spectacularly? Well, the Joburg mayor, Dada Morero, skipped a court appearance earlier this week to go and deliver a lecture that was hosted by Harvard University on how cities can deliver results. I mean, this is Joburg faces serious issues around service delivery. The city is being described, and you know this if you live here, as struggling, crumbling, ongoing infrastructure and governance challenges. And there he was lecturing on how to do this when he was meant to be in court. And in true Dada fashion, he thought nobody would notice. How many beverages can you handle before you pass out? And I'm talking about those bevies. A woman has been awarded £220,000, that's over 4 million rand, in damages after being overserved at least 14 tequila shots on a cruise and later suffering injuries due to a fall. A US jury found the cruise company was negligent, highlighting concerns that all-inclusive drink packages encourage excessive alcohol consumption. American law is really mad. Since it was the cruise's fault. They forced down those tequila shots, and that's why she fell. In America, that's the kind of case you can win. And born on this day in 1967, Kimberly Elise, an American actress best known for films like The Great Debaters, but most specifically in my mind, The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She won a BET Comedy Award for that. She's also appeared in Hit the Floor, Dope, and The Manchurian Candidate, but I think we'll always remember her as Helen, won't we?
702.
The newspapers.
Mr. Zulu, what's grabbing your attention in the papers?
Good morning, Bongani. Quick question. What memorable item, an antique item, vintage item, would you spend your money on?
Ooh,
big money.
I still want to have what do you call it? A turntable.
Aha. Yeah,
I don't have one, but I think I would at some point like to have a turntable.
Yeah, I'm asking this question because there's a story that I came across of a symbolic piece of history that's going under the hammer this weekend. And it is a life jacket that was worn by a survivor of the Titanic disaster.
Oh, wow.
So it belonged to a first-class passenger. Her name was Laura Mabel Francitelli. And she escaped the sinking ship with one of its limited lifeboats. And now, more than a century later, it's expected to sell for up to an equivalent of 7 million rand. And what makes this item especially powerful is that it is the only life jacket from the Titanic survivor ever to be sold.
Oh, wow. What special memento or historical artifact do you have in your home? The papers are all about the Malema story. Juju's freedom fight, says the Sowetan. Free for now, says the Mail and Guardian. Also on the front page of the Business Day, much at stake for Malema as he readies High Court appeal. What now for Malema, asks the Citizen. It's all about Julius.
EWN.
Mateo wants to know, love lost and regained with brands? What prompts that question?
Well, Bongani, for the first time in more than 2 years, Pepsi's North American food business reported an increase in volume, right? In February, Pepsi cut prices on Lay's, Doritos, and Cheetos by as much as 15% to try and win back the shoppers. And many retailers rewarded the company by giving them more shelf space. And that's worked out for the company. Pepsi posting a first quarter net income attributable to the company of $2.3 billion. Net sales are rising by 8.5% to $19 billion. Pepsi's North American food business reported volume growth of 2% for the quarter. Now, despite the great numbers, the Pepsi beverage division fell 2% because it still has higher prices and people are opting, of course, for healthier option. But before cutting the price for the packet of chips, Pepsi raised the prices by 50% during the COVID pandemic. Now, Pepsi has cornered nearly 60% of the U.S. salty snacks market. About 100 million Americans consume Doritos each year, and 6.6 million of them consume 8 or more packets a month.
Well, I can tell you for free that Doritos and Lay's, we never broke off.
Oh,
we've always been dating.
That relationship is still
it
strong.
was never threatened. Pepsi Max. See, I allow myself Doritos because I'm having Pepsi Max.
Okay.
Which is the taste without
So
the
you're
sugar.
contributing to these numbers.
Where's the rand?
Oh, rand at this hour still quite weak against the dollar. 16 rand 42 against the dollar. 19 rand 34 against the euro. and at 22 Rand 21 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,794 an ounce, while platinum is at $2,097. Brent crude up 0.5% at $98 a barrel. More business after 7.
Earlier in the week, we played you that song by Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down. Swisser Zulu, seems the EFF was listening.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. The party has now directed its structures in Gugompo in the Eastern Cape to lay perjury charges against State Prosecutor Advocate Joel Caesar. Caesar prosecuted Malema in his firearm case, securing a conviction and a prison term. Malema is accusing Caesar of acting out of his jurisdiction, citing that the rifle he used to shoot into the air was given back to its owner. Malema addressed EFF supporters after receiving a 5-year direct prison sentence for the matter at the Gugompo Magistrates Court yesterday. He alleges that the prosecutor misled the court.
He lies in court yesterday. To lie to court is a criminal offense. He says, we gave the gun to accused number 2 after he was acquitted. When you said not guilty, that's when we gave accused number 2 the gun. But he forgets that when you collect a weapon or item that was used as evidence, when you collect it back, you must sign for it. There must be a date, there must be a time.
In the Western Cape High Court, a seemingly minor detail during proceedings may have major implications for alleged underworld boss Nafiz Modak. Witness for the Defence Police Captain Alfred Barker produced evidence that could link Modak to an attempted murder case related to the slain top cop Charles Kinnear. Modak and 14 co-accused are facing multiple charges, including the attempted murder and murder of Kinnear. Carlo Peterson reports.
State prosecutors concluded their cross-examination of SAPS Captain Alfred Barker yesterday after obtaining 4 cell phone numbers allegedly used by Nafiz Modak. During proceedings, presiding Judge Robert Henney noted one of the numbers came up in previous evidence related to a failed attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear, allegedly involving co-accused Yannick Adonis.
When the address was sent of Colonel Kinnear, was sent to Yannick Adonis.
Modak has denied sending Kinnear's address to Adonis or playing any part in the attack. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
The Social Security Agency has condemned the practice of selling queue positions at its offices across the country. Sassa says this is illegal and exploits vulnerable people who rely on social grants for their livelihoods. The agency has vowed to act against those involved, including any officials who may have assisted. Spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi says security will be strengthened with law enforcement brought in to ensure those responsible are held accountable.
Sassa acknowledges challenges experienced in some of its offices in ensuring effective and seamless service delivery, which is compounded by systematic issues. CEO Matulu has reiterated the commitment of the agency in checking up operational efficiency in assisting its clients, and this is done as a number 1 priority in line with Sassa's strategic objective of improved customer experience.
An Australian court has granted bail to former soldier Ben Robert Smith, charged with murdering unarmed prisoners captured in Afghanistan. Robert Smith became a household name across Australia when he was awarded the Victoria Cross in 2011, which is a medal reserved for only the most courageous wartime exploits. But a landmark military report in 2020 revealed grave allegations against Australian troops sent to fight Taliban forces, accusing elite units of torture and executions. This month, Robert Smith was charged with 5 counts of murder, with police alleging he was complicit in a string of unlawful killings between 2009 and 2012. After 10 days behind bars, he was granted bail, with Judge Greg Groton telling a Sydney court that the former soldier faced the prospect of years and years in jail before his case went to trial. A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 South. This is due to roadworks that are taking place between the Baklu interchange and Marlborough Drive. There's also queuing traffic towards the Baklu turnoff this morning along the N1 South between Allendale Road and the Baklu turnoff. If you were leaving Paulshof towards Woodmead, expect heavier traffic volumes as well on the N1 North between Winnie Mandela Drive and the Baklu turnoff.
The top story this hour, the EFF has directed the party structures in the Gukompo city in the Eastern Cape to lay perjury charges against State Prosecutor Advocate Joel Caesar.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
My show is about keeping our listeners company in the last part of the day in the most interesting and entertaining way that we possibly can. So the crucial thing for us is we've got to provide them with a mix. The news, yes, the big stories, of course, but we've got to talk about other things that make them laugh, make them think about things they've never thought about, and most important, that invite them to have a conversation with us. What I love about the 702 family and 702 land, first of all, I should just say people never stop surprising me. And the thing that is perhaps the thing I love the most is people manage to find things that make them laugh. And they don't laugh from a place of ridicule. They laugh from a place of deep humanity, because our ability to laugh has got us through so much over these many decades, and we're going to need it plenty in the decades to come.
702 Drive with John Perlman. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
When was the last time you felt something? Something that ignites your passion, gets your adrenaline pumping, and makes your heartbeat skip. When was the last time you fell in love? Introducing the new Alfa Romeo Junior with 280 horsepower and standard park assist. Learn to love again. Visit alfaromeo.co.za to book a test drive.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
President Cyril Ramaphosa choosing Rolf Meyer as the new U.S. ambassador. Why do you think he would be the man for the job?
Economy before politics. And I think that is important, that this is not a political appointment. This is someone who understands the economy. This is someone who understands what we require to ensure that the critical levers of the economy are not actually compromised.
Busisio Mavuso, a CEO of Business Leadership South Africa.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? It's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. 1,000 Rand for an answer and 2,000 Rand for the question. Remember, you always stand a better chance of being selected to give us that answer if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142 and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, 702. This is Sakan from Ekurhuleni. For me, the product that lost my trust and then got it back again is Oros. Like, I had stopped buying Oros because it's not the same anymore. It's still not the same, but I just buy it now because of my kids and my husband loves it. So I just had to go back and buy it again. But as for me, they've lost me. Oros doesn't taste the same anymore.
Yeah, one well-known product that I promised I would never use ever again. It was Clip Drift. Yeah. I woke up the next morning, I was so sick. I just said, I'll never, ever drinking that again. But yeah, I soon went back to it because, like, we had a bra later that same day. What can you do?
Good morning. Yeah, about 15, 20 years ago, Windhoek Lager left the country. Can't remember for how long, but I replaced it with Amstel. In the moment Windhoek Lager came back, straight on the juice cuppa, straight back. Thanks, guys.
It is a fryer indeed. Muteo wants to know that brand or product, love lost but regained. They lost you as a customer but eventually won you back. And what was the reason? Better prices? The offering just got better? Was it simply nostalgia? There are many drinks like Oros that probably don't taste the same because, what was allowed, I suppose, in terms of things like sugar and sweeteners and all of these things, artificial flavorants 20, 30 years ago is probably not the same today. So that might be part of the reason you think it doesn't taste the same. Klipdrift, you fell in love? You fell out of love? Does that happen every weekend? Every Sunday you fall out of love with it. And by Friday the love is back, eh?
EWN Sports.
Cindy Paluta is here. Very good morning to you,
Good
Cindy.
morning.
Happy Friday. A brand that you fell out of love with, but somehow it got you back.
The Proteas. I fall in and out of love with them all the time. And when I'm not supporting them anymore. I'm like, there I am. Oh, guys, we can do it.
We break up with them.
We
at
break
the
up
end
seasonally.
of each World Cup.
Yes.
And then we fall in love with them again when Test cricket comes. At least. Yeah.
Right. But we don't fall out of love with the Proteas women, and they're in action tonight. They're playing India. But it's a bit of a sore one because we lost to them in the final. But it's the first of 5 T20s. It's being played in Durban. Captain Laura Wolfart on the conditions expected at Kingsmead.
I think it's obviously pretty late in our season. I don't know if the wicket might be a bit on the slower side, and it's pretty hot as well, so it maybe suits Indian conditions a bit more than us. But I think it's a really cool challenge. I think they obviously have a lot of world-class spinners, so I think that'll be a big thing for us is how we play that and how we're able to, be nice and positive against those spinners. And at the same time, it's a good challenge for our spinners as well to really put some pressure on their batters.
Mamelodi Sundowns 90 minutes away from booking their place in the CAF Champions League final. They take a crucial 1-goal advantage into the second leg of their semi-final against Esperance at Loftus tomorrow. Defender Zuko.
The assignment is not done. The away game was just the first half. It actually comes from the coach that in such games, when it's high pressure games, us as players, we should just go inside and enjoy ourselves. So it takes away the pressure, but games like this always have pressure on their own because as a player you want to achieve something for the club and for yourself.
One game in the Betway Premiership tonight. Stellenbosch are hosting Skikone in the pick of the Premier League action on Sunday. Huge game being billed as a title decider as Manchester City host Arsenal with 6 points separating the sides. Arsenal captain Declan Rice.
Can't wait. It's why we play the game. And when you're watching the Premier League as a kid, you see these big matches, these title-defining moments, and comes down to if you're going to be ready and how much do you want it,
I'm just going, oh, Lord have mercy.
Funny. It's so funny how nervous the Arsenal fans are.
Yeah.
And we discussed it yesterday. The nervousness just comes from the fear of having your heart shattered again because it's the hope that kills you.
Because we've been the bridesmaids for so long.
Yes.
I don't think Man City will be as affected by the potential of losing. I mean, of course, they won't want to lose. I'm sure about that. But if they do, it won't be the end of the world. If we do, it will be quite a crushing one.
Would you call yourself chokers? Because you had the opportunity then to literally go much further along in the league.
Look, if we lose this time round,
the league,
it'll be difficult. Even the Champions League to some degree, but especially the league.
Okay. All right. In Europa League last night, Nottingham Forest beat a 10-man Porto 1-0. They go to the semi-finals. They'll play Aston Villa. Villa beat Bologna 4-0. The other semi-final, Braga against Freiburg. In the United Rugby Championship tonight, the Bulls are away at Dragons. Tomorrow, Stormers host Connacht. Then at Ellis Park, the Lions welcome Glasgow Warriors. The Sharks away at Ospreys. And at the IPL, Quinton de Kock made 112, but the Mumbai Indians still lost to Punjab Kings by 7 wickets. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
That's Thabo before he got naked. When Thabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best. Hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Thabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Thabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years. Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Hi, Uncle Bongani. My name is Yabonga. I'm 12 years old. I go to Village Montessori. And when I grow up, I want to become a football player. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm determined to win the 10,000.
Oh, good. I like determination. Will you be grateful, Siyabonga? Hey? Will we be grateful? 10,000 Rand up for grabs coming up.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN.
14 to 7, this EWN traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. You can SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. You were telling us about some issues near Baklu. Amma, what's going on?
Hectic delays, Bongani. This is due to the roadworks that are taking place towards the Alexandra area on the N3 South. Then we've got an accident on the N1 South. This is as you come out of Allendale Road, about a 20-minute hold up there. And then, of course, on the N1 North between Paulsall and Sunny Hill, hectic delays there coming out of Winnie Mandela Drive. So if you're traveling or driving around this area, please be patient. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 51. Did I use too many emojis in that text? Did I sound too eager? Oh, the mental gymnastics. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. Attention all shoppers.
Our supermarket shelves are full of unhealthy food. It's often hard for me to know which foods are good for my family. The information on packaged food is complicated and hard to understand. I wish we had easy-to-understand warning labels on foods high in salt, sugar, and saturated fat. We have the right to know what's in our food. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods. Sign the petition on healer.org. That's HEALA.org.
Small business owners speak a language of their own, and it's a language MTN Business and 702 understand very well. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Enter now on Prime Media Plus. Let's talk shop.
You may or may not know the difference between shares and bonds, but tell you what, you do know a great Outsurance deal when you see one. So get a car insurance quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, you can ask them 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Get savings or cash. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Some returns are worth the wait. Your favorite band, that binge-worthy series. And now, the return of Motor Select's Demo Deal Dash. From this Thursday, 16 April to Saturday, 18 April, get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist on any demo model. Hurry to motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership nationwide. 3 days, one big return. T's and C's apply.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
You have to be age 10 to 13 to play the Whiz Quiz. And we really, really appreciate all the kids who enter, who send us a voice note on 072 702 1702. And it sounds easy because they're sitting in the car and you're driving to work and the kids are in the car and everybody's shouting the answers. But when you're on air, the pressure is on. 12-year-old Siyabonga gets a turn today, goes to Village Montessori School, wants to be a footballer later on. Siyabonga, tomorrow is a big, big game. Arsenal versus Man City. Which one are you supporting?
Arsenal.
Yeah! And should we wear the t-shirt? Or do you think we'll jinx it? What do you think?
I think you'll win this time.
But should I wear my Arsenal t-shirt? Because I'm worried that if I wear it, then that might jinx it. But if I don't wear it, then that might jinx it. What should I do? Should I wear my Arsenal t-shirt?
You should wear it.
Okay. Siyabonga, you've got the final word on this. Thank you very much for that good advice. Good luck to you, hey?
Okay.
All right. KG, start the clock. What beginning with P do we call a group of lions?
A pack.
A pride. From which province is a car with EC number plates?
Pardon?
From which province is a car with EC number plates?
Eastern Cape.
Correct. Which sport does Desiree Ellis coach as a South African team? Cricket or soccer?
Cricket.
Soccer. What is half of 90?
45.
Correct. Anthropology is the study of humans. True or false?
False.
It's true. True or false? Oysters are shellfish that can produce pearls.
True.
Correct. Which city in the United States is nicknamed the Big Apple?
Skip.
New York City. The abbreviation SPCA stands for the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to what?
Skip.
Animals. Oh, Siyabonga. Yeah, the soccer one, I think you're going to kick yourself for. Desiree Ellis, of course, being the Banyana coach, beg your pardon, Banyana coach in football. Yes, so I thought that was the one I thought you were going to get. Tough round for you, but don't get discouraged. You're still 12, so you still have another chance to come back again in the Whiz Quiz. We've had winners who've played and lost and come back and won. Siyabonga, 12 years old today, walking away with 300 Rand.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
702.
The Political Desk.
All right, on to this. It's not money, power, or patronage that might seal the fate of Julius Malema, but rather 22 gunshots that were heard around Kukombo in 2018. Yesterday, the EFF leader was sentenced to an effective 5 years behind bars for firing weapons at his party's celebrations during their 5th anniversary rally in 2018. What was intended as political theatre is now the spectacle that could end his political career, certainly as a member of parliament. Yes, it is still a long way between now and then, but it is a definite possibility. We're joined by an investigative journalist and co-author of a book on Malema, Paulie van Wyk. Paulie, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Bongani.
I cheekily borrowed from your title, the title of your book in my introduction. It really does seem like it was the most unlikely infraction that may still fell Malema.
Yeah, absolutely. I am, however, very supportive of it. In a violent society like South Africa, we cannot afford the rule of law, especially on a principle where a semi-automatic weapon was fired off in a crowd. We cannot accept that that kind of a thing falls through the cracks. So I'm very supportive of this, even if it's the lesser of everything that Malema has done.
I want you to listen now to the reaction of Julius Malema addressing supporters after the decision yesterday and what he had to say in particular about the magistrate Toinette Olivier.
She's the most incompetent magistrate who read a judgment for 3 days. It is never done. She does so because we suspect she doesn't write her own judgments. They ask a simple thing, leave to appeal. It's a simple matter. The state stand up and they do not say anything. You still ask for 30 minutes to grant a leave to appeal or not. You are not asking for 30 minutes. You are still going to ask your masters, do I grant the leave to appeal or not? So you are dealing with an invisible hand that is controlling the proceedings in that particular court.
I mean, those are serious aspersions to cast on the court, Paulie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quintessential Malema. If you listen carefully, he didn't attack one of the facts, not even once. He's going for the reputation of the court and the judge, and he's creating a mystery that he has no evidence for. He's not even giving us one piece of evidence in support that there's some sort of a hidden hand behind this conviction of his. But he's creating this mystery around it, and his supporters often in the past, I hope they start to question it, but in the past they just accepted it without question. So Malema, one needs to be careful when you believe him on what he says about these kind of things. I was Satan. When we started writing about the VBS money, he wanted to take us to court. He accused us of all sorts of racism and weird and strange things. That's quintessential Malema. He will not take you on the facts because he knows he will lose on those. He will take you on any ancillary thing that he can create some sort of a negative issue about.
You say it's vintage Malema. Your book, of course, is called Malema, Money, Power, Patronage. And it's all about patterns of power and accountability surrounding the EFF leader over many years. How much does the reaction to the sentencing and all the issues around it yesterday paint the broader picture that your book explores in terms of who Julius Malema is as an individual when it comes to accountability?
Yeah, it's interesting that so the book centers mostly about his money and his power and how he uses those to gain even more power and money. But there's also a subliminal theme there where Malema's power has always been around his interesting way around crowds, how he acts as political theater. I think your summary at the start of this conversation was really on point. Where you said the political theater around Malema has been very well established and carefully created. And this is one of those moments that tripped him up in the end. But it's absolutely true that Malema uses every little interesting thing that he can, same with firing a gun, that he's acting in some sort of an impunity, suggesting that he will never get caught. And I think this is one of those moments where he just moved too far ahead of himself.
Would contrition have helped here? I mean, despite clearly strong evidence when it comes to ballistics, evidence of real live ammunition, he's insisting to this day that this was a toy gun. As I say, would repentance have helped here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the judge also mentioned that there were several instances of what had been done and what his defense was, and how that was not in line with the truth. And that kind of a thing the law and the court really takes a dim view on, and it will be difficult to change that now in appeal in the High Court, because he's already tied himself to a version.
Look, here's the nub. I said in my introduction, it's a long time between now and the conclusion of the appeals processes that must now unfold. Regardless of that, Julius Malema clearly has been wounded. Mortally, would you say?
It's difficult to say. I think this is just another layer, rather. Maybe it's I view what's happening at the moment is just another cut in one of those 1,000 cuts that makes you bleed in the end. I think this is just another cut. Malema has been a figure that's been so influential in our politics and larger than life. You know, he's been punching far above his weight in terms of his political size. But over time, and with the benefit of time, people realize that he's a complete flip-flopper, that he's inconsistent, that his policies do not make sense, that Malema is there for himself, that he is fundamentally corrupt in many ways, not only in a monetary way. So all of those things just add onto a layer and this gun charge and conviction is just another layer. It might be the one that keeps him in the end out of Parliament if the High Court upholds the sentence and gives him a prison sentence of more than 1 year. We'll have to see what the court thinks about that.
Paulie van Wyk, the book is called Malema, Power, Money, Patronage. I think it might offer some insights into the character of Julius Malema. from a different perspective.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
10 professionals killed and targeted in broad daylight over the past 3 years. Who ordered the killings and why have these cases run cold? All of that to come after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Khaliks. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
Tswane's troubled money man will be in the hot seat at the Madlanga Commission, and AfriForum says Julius Malema's racism accusations hold no water. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Tswane's suspended Chief Financial Officer Gareth Mnisi will finally testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Mnisi has been implicated in alleged tender rigging and corruption in the metro. He was placed on precautionary suspension earlier this week for 3 months. Tabiso Goba reports.
When controversial cop Sergeant Fanny Nkosi appeared at the Madlanga Commission, WhatsApp chats between him and Tswane's CFO Gareth Mnisi were a matter of interest. From those chats, it shows Mnisi helped Nkosi's brother score a security tender from the municipality. It also showed the two shared lists of companies they wanted tenders to be awarded to. Mnisi also shared confidential documents with Nkosi, despite the fact that he wasn't employed at the municipality. In addition to being the CFO, Mnisi was also chairperson of the city's bid adjudication committee, which plays a critical role in deciding which companies are awarded tenders at the municipality. Tabi Sokoba, Eyewitness News.
AfriForum has dismissed EFF leader Julius Malema's claims that the Afrikaans lobby group is targeting him on racial grounds. The organization opened a criminal case against Malema after firing a rifle in public in 2018. Malema was last year found guilty of violating gun laws. The Gugompo Magistrates Court yesterday sentenced him to 5 years imprisonment, but he was granted leave to appeal the sentence. Malema will remain a free man while he pursues his appeal at the Eastern Cape High Court. Alfara Mushwana reports from Gugompo.
EFF leader Julius Malema claims that both AfriForum and the magistrate in his firearm discharge case, Toinet Olivier, acted in a racist manner towards him.
Magistrate Olivier is a racist of note, and she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum. That's why when you mention AfriForum, she cannot hide her emotions.
However, AfriForum's spokesperson on community safety, Jacques Broderick, says the racism claims are baseless.
If that is the case, they need to explain to me how racism made Mr. Malema fire that trigger and shoot those bullets into the air. That's the one thing that no one seems to be able to explain to me.
He says Malema's sentence is a victory for the many people who could have been injured when Malema fired the rifle. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Gugompo in the Eastern Cape.
The Judicial Service Commission says it does not believe Eastern Cape High Court Judge President Selby Mbenenge appreciates the responsibility associated with his position and the power imbalance it creates in the work environment. It's one of the reasons it offered for overturning a misconduct finding against him and replaced it with one of gross misconduct for the sexual harassment of a court secretary. The decision means he could be the fifth judge in the country's democratic history to face impeachment. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
In a report from the JSC sitting without MPs and that will be forwarded to Parliament, it says Judge Mbenenge's conduct is serious and constitutes an affront to propriety of judicial office. In coming to the decision to replace the finding of the Judicial Conduct Tribunal, which heard testimony from both sides last year, the JSC says it considered the impact of Mbenenge's conduct on the workplace and on public confidence in the judiciary. The JSC has further criticised the tribunal for largely focusing on the conduct of the complainant without giving consideration to the conduct of the judge and whether he appreciated that it was inappropriate and unacceptable. Parliament's Justice Committee is currently considering impeachment against two judges, and this case is now also set to land on their desks. An impeachment requires a 2/3 majority vote from MPs. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has welcomed the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon and urged all parties to fully respect the truce. The temporary truce was announced by U.S. President Donald Trump and it took effect at midnight. The latest war started when the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran in February, and Lebanon was pulled in when Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel. Since then, Israeli strikes in Lebanon have killed more than 2,000 people and displaced more than 1 million, while Israeli ground forces have invaded the country's south. Guterres spokesperson Stefan Dujarric says the UN chief hopes that a temporary halt to fighting will pave the way for negotiations.
We welcome steps that would end hostilities and suffering on both sides of the blue line. The United Nations, through our political and peacekeeping missions, remains ready to support these efforts and continues to urge the full implementation of Security Council Resolution 1701.
Gold is trading at $4,799.14 an ounce. The rand is at 16.41 to the dollar, 22.19 to the pound, 19.33 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $98.18 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North. This is between Malibongwe Drive and the Baklu interchange. The N1 South towards the Baklu turnoff is also heavily backed up. About a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Olifantsfontein Road towards the Baklu turnoff. Please go via Tembisa if you are leaving the city of Tshwane towards areas like Sandton as well as Alexandra.
And in your sport, the Blitzboks opened their Hong Kong Sevens with a 12-7 win over Uruguay, while the women lost to Australia. Banyana battles Algeria in a second friendly at 3 this afternoon. Tomorrow, a huge clash for Sundowns, who must beat Esperance to make the Champions League final. The Proteas women going for revenge over India. The first of 5 T20s starts tonight in Durban.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg and Vereeniging both at 14 degrees, peaking at 25, Pretoria 16 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. Tshwane's suspended Chief Financial Officer Gareth Mnisi will finally testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
The first rule of earning respect is to look respectable. Nothing exemplifies this more than a well-tailored business suit, a crisp shirt, a tie, elegant shoes from Khaliks. For over 50 years, Khaliks has been a trusted name among business professionals who understand that reputation is everything. With quality suits and accessories of enduring style, Khaliks offers exceptional value, service and collections that inspire both business confidence and personal style. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
From the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between, it's the 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Enter now on Prime Media Plus. Let's talk shop.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It is a Friday. It's the end of what has been a really, really busy news week. And of course, I told you a little earlier on about the Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge, who is likely now, or at least a bit closer to facing impeachment. This after the Judicial Service Commission found him guilty of sexual harassment and gross misconduct. You remember that case that included or involved numerous inappropriate messages and exchanges between the Eastern Cape Judge President and a court employee, raising serious concerns about the abuse of power. If it does get to the stage where Parliament has to decide whether or not to impeach him, I think it's going to be a landmark moment for South Africa, because in a country beset with gender-based violence and continued attacks on women, many of our politicians puff their chests, beat their chests, and tell us about how they stand against GBV. This could become a test case because, unlike others perhaps, it is not tainted politically. This is not about the politics of the man. It's not about his affiliation or alignment. It's a simple test as to whether our lawmakers really, really stand with women in this country.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Gosh, it also seems like a long time since last weekend when the DA elected new leadership and set out an ambitious plan to become the largest political party in South Africa. This despite failing to grow beyond the early 20% ceiling under successive leaders. And the truth we must also examine, and that the DA needs to examine, has been that even though the ANC has been on the back foot for many a year, following state capture, following a failure to renew under President Cyril Ramaphosa, the ANC's electoral decline has not been the Blue Party's gain, and those who've left the ANC have gone to the EFF and to the MKP, and those are some of the voters the DA needs to win. The truth is, the Blue Party won't achieve its lofty goals without appealing to a majority of South Africans. So you remember earlier in the week I asked a very simple question: are we ready for a white president? It came in the context, of course, that if they do become the largest party with Jordan Hill-Lewis as their leader, that's who would become president, right? More pointedly today, I want to ask a reverse of that question. Is the DA ready for South Africa? Is the DA ready, specifically now, for Black South Africa? I want to play you two telling moments that occurred this week that tell me it is not. The first is, I think, from Tuesday. This is now the newly minted federal leader of the DA, the Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis, speaking at a business news event, and in this clip, Jordan Hill-Lewis criticizes the perceived relationship between South Africa and Iran. Now, he's free to do that, but I'm going to tell you the context that makes it questionable.
Firstly, the ANC's relationship with Iran is, ill-considered and indefensible, and they should not be close to Iran at all. And I wouldn't say that it is true that South Africa has a close relationship with Iran. I would say that it's true that the ANC has a close relationship with Iran. The ANC is no longer the government of South Africa. It is still the largest party in South Africa, but it is now part of a coalition government of national unity.
Of course, Jordan Hill-Lewis is free to criticize the ANC's relationship with Iran. He's free to criticize the country and the leadership of Iran. But in the context where his party has failed to take a stand against the genocide in Palestine and against Palestinians, it raises doubt about whether or not the DA's positions come from principle or expedience. Take a listen to a clip from a video that's been circulating on social media in which at a meeting, a public event, Helen Zille, of course, campaigning for the next mayor of Johannesburg, is confronted by an attendee at that event who criticizes the DA's stance on the question of the genocide happening in Gaza.
Thank you so much for coming here, Helen. I'm one of those people who really don't like you. Just going to be honest. I've never liked the DA. I find the DA to be the most racist party, full of white supremacy. The question for me, and it's a big question, and I know you've said it before, that genocide is a big word, and it goes to there. How can we even trust you to lead anything when you can't acknowledge that there's a genocide going on in Gaza? You say that, please, let me finish. You say that we must wait for the ICJ to rule. The ICJ has found that there's a plausible case of genocide. The ICJ has said that we must respect the rights of people. Amnesty International's ruled, Human Rights Watch has ruled, the International Association of Genocide Scholars has ruled, and you continue to deny that there's a genocide. Where is your morality? How many more children must die? How many more people must starve, Helen Zille, before you will stand up with a spine to the immorality that there is a genocide?
To her credit, Zille allows this man to confront her. As you can hear there, he gets quite animated and quite emotional. A couple of people in the crowd move around her, ostensibly to protect her or to prevent him from getting anywhere near Zille, but she hears him out and she responds to him. Unfortunately, the audio from her response that has been circulating is a bit muffled, but the essence of what she says is, look, we've got this racial project here in South Africa, people of diverse backgrounds coming together. What is happening over there, we cannot allow to derail the project that is happening over here. That's the essence, I think, of her response. She even offers to debate the matter with him outside of that forum. And it goes back to that thing I said earlier in the week where the DA refuses to see color and sees as everyone who might be their supporters, of course, as potentially blue. It's that smurfing of South Africa where we're all just smurfs. And that is why, despite Gogo's water antics, I think the DA remains unelectable.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, in Pinoni, we've got a major accident scene on the N12 West. It happened right near Snake Road. It's causing delays from Patfontein Road. And then there's queuing traffic reported in Sharon-Lee. This is along Malibongwe Drive between the Bellas Drive and the N1 exit. That's due to another accident scene, so please be on the lookout there. But I guess the hot point this morning is along the N1 South and the N3 South right at the Baklu turn off. This is due to an earlier accident causing these delays from this morning. Delays on the N1 South as you come out of Olifantsfontein Road, and then on the N1 North from Malibongwe Drive through Fourways and Sunny Hill. So please be on the lookout there and keep driving with care. We'll have more traffic updates for you, but if you see anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Wait till you hear how much money Outsurance saves 30-year-old Dineo on her car insurance.
I'm saving 1,094 rands.
That's an incredible monthly saving of 1,094 Rand on Dineo's 2025 Kia Sonet. SMS out to 45142. Here's 63-year-old Almero.
We do save 417 Rand. That's about 5,000 Rand a year.
That's an awesome saving on Almero's 2021 Ford Ranger. Get a quote now. SMS out to 45142. With Outsurance, after 3 claim-free years, you get an out bonus.
Can't wait for that. A little bit of cash for a girl to have a little bit of fun, eh?
Always getting something out. You also get 5 million Rand third-party liability cover, covering damage to the other person's vehicle in an accident. How much could Outsurance save you? Get a quote now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
The Big Interview.
With Bongani Bingwa.
On to this now. 18 days ago, on the 30th of March, in Vanderbijl Park, a 39-year-old, Martha Mani Rantsufi, an acting accountant in the Imfuleni municipality, was shot dead whilst waiting for her car at a tyre shop just meters away from a police station. CCTV footage of the attack circulated widely on social media. She was gunned down in broad daylight, and her killing, unfortunately, is not an isolated case. Over the past 3 years, at least 10 professionals, auditors, prosecutors, insolvency practitioners, and municipal officers have been murdered in attacks linked to their work. You know the names. We've covered them on the station. Babita Diokoran, Clute Murray and his son Thomas Murray, Boa van Niekerk. So many of these names. Martha Rantsofi, of course, had reportedly raised concerns about fraudulent payments, procedural and procurement irregularities, and missing municipal funds before her murder. What do all these attacks seem to have in common? Targets, it would seem, carried out in public spaces. Nothing is stolen or taken away from the victims. And it also looks like there's some careful planning that goes into this. There are even cases where the gunmen are identified and even arrested, but those pulling the strings from behind the scenes never seem to get taken. So what are we dealing with here, and why do these cases sometimes run cold? Stan Besadenhout is a forensic specialist and a former police specialist reservist who joins us now. Stan, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Thank you, Bongani. Good morning and good morning to your listeners.
I've tried to outline what isn't necessarily now a new story. Certainly in Martha's case, it's 18 days old now, but we're seeing a pattern here. These victims are targeted. It seems that it is, in fact, an execution. Very little is stolen from the victims. From a forensics point of view, what does that kind of consistency tell you about the planning and level of organization behind such attacks?
The first and most important thing is we must understand the environment. There seems to be some kind of evolution of organized crime in South Africa, and I think the reason why you see so many of these kinds of assassinations linked to the financial industry is I think it's simply because we have so much corruption and rot within them, let's call it the big ticket financial environments in South Africa, that you're starting to see criminality evolve outside of those parameters. Specifically now that we have more and more so-called whistleblowers coming forward, people highlighting these irregularities, etc.
I mean, we look at these now increasingly as planned professional hits. But Stan, where does one find a hitman?
Well, I can tell you that I've never hired a hitman, so I can't answer that with any authority, right? But I can tell you that somebody willing to murder for a small amount of money is literally a dime a dozen in South Africa. Life has very low value in South Africa. You can almost find anybody these days and offer them anything as low as 5,000 Rand just for the purpose of them walking up to somebody, executing them and getting the cash. You could argue that it's a dynamic that comes back to the financial situation and unemployment, but I don't think it's that simple. Somebody that's a criminal at that level is probably involved in more than just those assassinations. It's not like some kind of shop clerk suddenly becomes an assassin. These guys operate in that environment.
And I suppose, I mean, it seems like a silly question to ask you, where does one find a hitman? But really, the idea I'm trying to get to is, who are these people? How do they operate? What is the underbelly that the average citizen is unaware of that is really hidden in plain sight?
All these crime syndicates operate on layers. They all start at the bottom and build up through the ranks. It's like gangs. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference is it's not about the old prohibition and alcohol. It's now about big cash, big contracts, big financial rewards. And I think the biggest thing that we're overlooking is the fact that there are so many people involved so deeply in violent crimes. I've had opportunity to actually personally interview so-called hijackers. And even hijackers consider it a job. They decide that I'm a hijacker. They start hijacking vehicles, and to them it's nothing personal. They don't care who you are, where you come from. If they're told they need this kind of vehicle, they simply fetch it, and to them it's kind of like a shopping thing. And I think what's happening is more and more criminals are starting to evolve or upgrade themselves into the assassination environment because it's slightly bigger cash and it's quicker and it's easy.
Yet you're a forensic specialist, which is part of the reason we are talking today. We know investigations have become sophisticated. We've got so much technology. There's so much science behind it. And even when there's CCTV footage or even witnesses exist, it seems some of these cases stall, or if they make any headway, it is limited to the level of only the shooter. Why aren't we catching the big fish? Or am I watching too much CSI?
Well, there's something called the CSI effect. Unfortunately, we are influenced by what we see on television, wrongly or rightly so. But the fact is we are influenced by what we see on television. The reality on the ground is that in South Africa, all our crime intelligence mechanisms, our law enforcement mechanisms, etc., have been developed over many years. It's in close correlation to physical crimes, contact crimes, house breakings, robberies, things like that. And I think since these types of operations are much more technology-based, communications-based, and all this kind of stuff, maybe we don't quite have the resources, skills, or training, or perhaps experience to address it at the level that is required. Who could check every single record of that person and every single person they communicate with, every single record of every one of those people? And then on top of that, we have a new layer, which is the new Poppy Act, and the simple fact that you can't just check somebody's phone records. You have to go to a court, convince them to issue a warrant. Now, how do you issue a warrant for 100 contacts if you can't show the court that you think or have a suspicion of how those contacts are involved? So the legal framework, the lack of technology and resources, and the lack of specialized training in that specific field are all conspiring to put us in a situation where the best we can hope for is to catch the shooter.
So it does mean then for the kingpins, it's a risk worth taking.
Absolutely. Not only is it a risk worth taking, it's starting to become wholesale. The reason why we see this increase is simply because it's wholesale. But the bigger question is not what is happening at the let's call it the coalface where the assassinations are being committed. The question is, why is so much money needed and why it's such a high profile? And I think that the biggest mistake we are making in South Africa consistently is to overlook the possibility of terror funding. I think terror funding is a much bigger motivation for some of these major crimes, and I'm talking the ones involving multi-millions and perhaps even billions, than we are willing to admit.
Terror funding?
Yes, so funding going towards terror organizations.
Such as?
Funding going, such as you can think about things like Hamas, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, all these international terror groups. Remember, the best place for terror funding to take place is in an environment where law enforcement is not fully efficient, where the courts are captured, where borders are porous, but where there is a lot of currency to work with and where cash is king. And South Africa is full.
The courts
absolutely.
A captured stand?
That's what. So what happens with court capture is not so much a case of a judge being paid to let somebody go free. It goes to a much lower level. The first arrest, the handling of evidence, the preservation of evidence, the availability of people who are capable of fully cross-examining, the framework of evidence on which those prosecutions are predicated. Our court's hands are largely bound, but it's captured by inefficiency of the system. So at the end of the day, the major criminals don't often arrive in court. It's only the little guy who runs around with a gun that he bought secondhand to start with.
So if you're an auditor or, I don't know, an insolvency practitioner, a municipal official, and you detect something wrong around financial flows, best you shut up?
Well, I'd say best you open your mouth and die, because that's what the right thing is to do. But who would be willing to do that? You can't expect of somebody to put their own lives at risk. And the fact is that this trend is almost like kind of a cabal message to the greater population. Say, look, in the last 2 years, we've killed so many people. Think twice before you come and speak up. And that's the part that concerns me, is what is the next whistleblower going to do, the one after that? And what you have invariably is you have some people who just literally shut up, and you've got others that say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So there are more criminals developing every day because they see zero consequences for those at the right levels.
Stan Besadenhout is a forensic specialist and former police specialist reservist. If that doesn't send a chill down your spine, I'm not sure what else will.
EWN Business.
Some good news on the Labour front. Mateo Haripe, 28 after 7, 2 out of 3 Eskom unions have accepted a wage offer.
Yeah, two out of South Africa's major labour unions have accepted Eskom's 7% wage increase offer, while a third has rejected it and declared a deadlock. Last year, Eskom began pay talks with the National Union of Mine Workers, which is NUM, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, and Solidarity, with several rounds of negotiations taking place. Now, the utilities' final offer was a 7% pay increase in each of the 3 years under negotiation, effective from July 2026. NUM Energy Sector Coordinator Kangela Baloyi and Solidarity General Secretary Gideon Duplessis say their members have taken that offer, while NUMSA members, on the other hand, are digging their heels in, demanding 8% in the first year. NUMSA has declared a deadlock.
The markets?
Well, there was some weakness on the JSE, but SPAR was better, up 2.7%. Boxer up more than 2%. Generally a better day for retailers. Mr. Price up 2% as well, with that Dis-Chem enjoying gains of close to 1%. The rand at this hour, 16 rand 41 against the US dollar, 19 rand 34 against the euro, and at 22 rand 19 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is up 0.5% at $4,804 an ounce, while platinum is at $2,095. Brent crude now at $98 a barrel. It's up 0.5%. More business after 8.
7:30 exactly your time check. The EFF lead responds to his sentencing. Sfiso Zulu, good morning.
Yeah, that's right, Bongani. The party says its leader Julius Malema's prison sentence will not affect its performance at the upcoming local government elections. The Gugompo Magistrates Court yesterday slapped the EFF leader with a 5-year direct prison sentence after being found guilty of violating gun laws. Malema was last year convicted for firing a rifle in public at the party's rally in 2018. He remains a free man pending his bid to appeal the sentence at the Eastern Cape High Court. Alfara Mushwana reports from the Eastern Cape.
In the last general election, one of the setbacks the EFF faced was the rise of the MK party, which saw its support drop to 9% in parliament. There have been suggestions that Julius Malema's sentence could present another major challenge, potentially impacting the EFF's performance in the upcoming municipal polls. However, EFF Deputy Secretary General Leon Matthys says the party will weather the storm despite the cloud hanging over Malema's head.
I mean, as you know, justice is very long in this country. You saw that we've been here in this court for like almost 7 years. So by the time we even get to Concord, elections will be long over by then.
She doubts voters will even consider Malema's conviction when marking the ballot paper.
And I think there's no sober South African that takes this process and even this conviction serious.
Malema is appealing his sentence at the Eastern Cape High Court. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Kukompo in the Eastern Cape.
Suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police top cop Julius Mkhwanazi has pleaded ignorance to supplying emergency blue lights to a wealthy businessman. It was revealed at the Madlanga Commission yesterday that Mike van Wyk repeatedly asked Mkhwanazi for blue lights for his personal and company cars. Van Wyk is a close associate of suspected crime cartel boss Vusmuzi Kat Matlala. Tabiso Goba reports.
In 2021, as the AMPD deputy chief, Julius Mkhwanazi signed a memorandum of understanding that was between the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department and two companies owned by Mark van Wyk, Medicare 24 and Anubis Protection Services. The MOU appointed Medicare 24 and Anubis staff as peace officers and also permitted their cars to be fitted with emergency blue and red lights. While Mkhwanazi acknowledges signing the MOU, he says he doesn't have the power to issue blue and red lights. Yesterday, several voice notes were played at the Madlanga Commission of Van Wyk either requesting blue lights or peace officer cards from Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi says he cannot recall the voice notes, prompting this frustrated response from Co-Commissioner Sesi Baloyi.
You're not being truthful again when you say, I don't remember. In fact, you're just continuing in this consistent, evasive responses to questions where you say, well, I don't remember. Here you must remember because you responded.
No, I don't deny that I communicated. It's just that I don't remember that.
Mkhwanazi will return to the Madlanga Commission at a later date. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And Scotland-based accusers of convicted paedophile Ian Wares have described seeing him again as spooky, confusing and deeply upsetting. Wares is facing 90 charges related to the sexual and physical abuse of more than 60 boys in the United Kingdom, dating back over 5 decades during his time as a teacher in Scotland. The 86-year-old's extradition hearing in the Simonstown Magistrates Court has been postponed to later this month. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
3 of Ian Wares' accusers from Scotland travelled to Cape Town to attend his court appearance. George Scott says seeing his abuser for the first time in nearly 5 decades was unsettling.
It's quite spooky just seeing that face in person. It's 48 years ago in my case. I'm still kind of processing that.
Roy Harangi says he felt a sense of satisfaction seeing Wes in court.
It's been 51 years since I've seen that monster. I had come here to confront my demons, and I did just that.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Boksburg along the N17 West between Osborne Road and Heidelberg Road. That's due to roadworks there. There's also queuing traffic in the east of Joburg along the N12 West due to an accident right near Snake Road. It's causing delays from Pipfontein Road and traveling on the N1 South, queuing traffic between Olifantsfontein Road and the Baklu interchange.
The top story this hour, the EFF says Malema's prison sentence will not affect its performance at the local polls.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
You always dress so well in black.
I think it's uniform. You know when you go to school?
Yeah.
You have to wear black and white. So my uniform is black every day. And it makes life easy.
How long have you been wearing just black now?
Over 14, 15 years now.
Goodness.
Yeah. I don't even feel it's black. It's just that color that I wear every day.
So when you're on the beach...
It's black.
Your Speedo is black?
It's black. It will be black.
What?
Yes.
What, yellow, some...
No. It will be black. Yeah.
That's interesting. What was the reason for that? Did you wake up one day and you thought, I want to be different. Let's go for this.
It wasn't even a conscious decision. It was a natural progression into it.
Award-winning fashion designer David Tlale.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
You've been following the pressure, the passion, and the plates. Now it's all about one ingredient that everyone thinks they can cook. Rice. Simple, right? Not so in the MasterChef kitchen. This week on MasterChef South Africa, contestants are fighting to stay in the competition. They've been given one clear brief. Make rice the hero of the dish. So whether sweet or savory, bold or comforting, it has to be MasterChef worthy. With just 60 seconds on the clock, every decision counts. Catch MasterChef South Africa this Sunday at 6 p.m. on ETV. You can also stream it on eVOD or watch evod.co.za.
That's Amanda before she got naked. When the power tripped, Amanda felt more helpless than when her mom-in-law called her lasagna different. So Amanda got naked. She got car and home insurance at a lower premium and can now call an electrician anytime via the Naked app. There we go. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
New from the House of Citroën.
Ah, so stylish.
470-litre boot space. I need it.
Keyless entry, so chic.
Cruise control. Oh, bonjour.
4-year or 60,000 kilometer service plan? Oui.
The stylish, all-new Citroën Basalt is here. You want a piece of it. Starting from 354,900 Rand. Register now for limited deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Visit citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Too many learners are falling through the cracks. But on Monday, the National Education Summit 2026 is determined to change that. Join 702 live at the Gordon Institute of Business Science in Sandton as leaders, educators, and policymakers come together to reimagine South Africa's education system, from early childhood development to entrepreneurship and vocational training. This is where real solutions begin. 702 live at the Gordon Institute of Business Science. Monday, 20 April from 9 a.m. The National Education Summit 2026 on 702.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. Well articulated, well put. The DA remains unelectable. It will always be unelectable to the majority precisely because they do not see things as they are, but as they want to imagine it. I mean, just look at the Federal Council of the DA, for God's sake. What does it say about representation?
Good morning, 702. Mr. Bingwa, no matter what, I will still vote for DA with an open heart. I don't care who says what or criticism about the DA, I will still vote for DA.
Bongani, I love you. You know, the way you are so objective, when you confront whatever, you confront it with objectivity, and people will often jump first and say, oh yeah, no, you're speaking like this because kind of maybe you're supporting whosoever than the other. I'm just listening to what you just said about the Blue Party and the way you are so objective. And when you are objective with the other parties and people feel like, oh no, maybe you are siding with certain parties. No, I'm listening to you now. And what I love about you is that you take the truth, you put it on the table, and you are very objective about it. It is Lyndon here in Kailami.
Actually, I'm quite subjective. Appreciate the compliment, and I see what you mean, but I'm subjective. I'm a talk show host. It's opinion radio. This is what I think. I'm happy for you to disagree, and sometimes I will change my mind. This week, I've gone to being an EFF supporter, right, to being anti-ANC. Earlier in the week when I said Helen Zille has the most effective and visible campaign, I was a huge DA supporter. Now that I'm pointing out some obvious weaknesses in how the Blue Party wants to approach life in this country, suddenly I'm anti-DA. And I'll give you one example on our YouTube live stream. Let me just get a little bit closer. I think it's Mindlaws 23? Mindlaws? Is it Mindlaws? Will be Mindlaws,
That sounds
right?
like Mindlaws, yeah.
Mindlaws 23 says, beware of unconscious bias, Bonks. Your intro only mentions white victims of these hits. We were talking, of course, about officials who've been gunned down just for doing their jobs. I started my introduction by saying that it was, 18 days ago that 39-year-old Martha Rantsufi was shot down in Emfuleni. I mentioned Babita Deokaran. But Mindlos says I only mentioned white people. You know what happens sometimes? People only hear what they want to hear.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Katleho. Katleho, you've got today's answer. Please give it to us.
The answer is Helen Bongani.
Ooh, that's going to be a tricky one. Katleho, tell me, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I'm a client, Mr. Bong.
Your biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, Katleho, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. All right, if Helen is the answer, what's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Right, we've been talking a lot of football this week, Cindy Paluta, but let's go back to rugby.
Yeah, live sevens rugby. And I can't believe it because it feels like just the other day the Blitzboks were crowned series champions. Now they're back in it. Hong Kong Sevens. They opened with a 12-7 win over Uruguay. This morning they play Spain after 8 o'clock and then Argentina tomorrow, while the women lost to Australia 33-0. They play Canada today and Great Britain tomorrow. United Rugby Championship later. The Bulls are away at Dragons tonight, while tomorrow the Lions host Glasgow at Ellis Park at 4. Banyana's playing Algeria this afternoon in Durban, a second friendly in preparation for WAFCON. That starts at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Mamelodi Sundowns have a 1-goal advantage going into tomorrow's Champions League semi-final second leg against Esperance at Loftus. Defender Zuko.
We're expecting them to come out guns blazing because it's do or die for them and for us. But considering the fact that we will be playing a home game, we will take advantage of that.
In the Premiership tonight, Stellenbosch hosts Sekhukhune. Tomorrow, Pirates against AmaZulu Chiefs away at Polokwane. While Sunday's Premier League is being billed as a title decider, Manchester City host Arsenal. City 6 points behind Arsenal. In Europa League last night, Nottingham Forest beat a 10-man Porto 1-0. They'll play Aston Villa in the semi-finals. Villa beat Bologna 4-0. In cricket, the Proteas women are taking on India tonight, the first of 5 T20s. Captain Laura Wolfart.
I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, they're a great side. They've come off a lot of T20 cricket. They had a WPL recently. So yeah, it's an awesome challenge for us and hopefully we're able to play some good cricket.
Bongani's crying in the background because he's so stressed
No,
for
I
the
was-
City Arsenal game. I can't
thought it was
believe
tomorrow.
it.
I thought it was tomorrow for some reason.
No,
I think
only
it's so we had a Whiz quiz player earlier who
Yes.
happens to be a footballer and is an Arsenal supporter.
Okay.
So I was asking him, should I wear my T-shirt? Will it jinx it if I wear it? Will it jinx it if I don't? And 12-year-old Siyabonga said I should.
Okay.
But I was thinking it's tomorrow. It's actually Sunday.
It's Sunday. All the big teams play Sundays. At the IPL, Quinton de Kock made 112 of 60, but his Mumbai Indians still lost to Punjab Kings by 7 wickets. And last weekend, Carlos Ulberg won the lightweight title at UFC 327, but has lost his gold title belt in post-fight celebrations. He told Fox Sports initially after winning, the plan was to not have a drink. But you know how these things go, right?
Famous last words. Well, he just lost it.
He lost it in all the celebrations. He went out, somebody offered him champagne. He said one thing led to another and he can't find the belt.
He doesn't know what he did with it.
No, that big gold belt.
No, man.
Just check out your
That's
cash.
hilarious.
You must go to your cash
That is
crusaders around the corner.
hilarious.
You never know. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness
That's so
Sport.
funny.
No one gets fit overnight. It takes discipline, and your money is no different. A Nedbank 32-day notice account helps you build financial strength with up to 7.3% interest and zero maintenance fees. The higher the deposit, the higher the return. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. For more information, go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Celestial Bodies returns to the stage after last year's successful run. So it's a collaboration between Universe on Stage and the Joburg Ballet. Celestial Bodies is a fusion of narration, music, science, and ballet. It's a unique performance that tells the story of our connection to the stars and to the universe. Universe on Stage is reshaping live entertainment. It merges science, music, and storytelling, connecting audiences to the wonders of the cosmos. There are 3 performances of Celestial Bodies at the UJ Theatre this weekend. There'll be 2 on Saturday, 2 in the afternoon, and 1 in the 2 on Saturday, 1 in the afternoon, and the other in the evening, and then of course on Sunday as well. For more details and to book tickets, go to Quicket and search for Celestial Bodies.
Illegal water connections have serious consequences for the city's water supply. When pipelines are tampered with, it damages infrastructure, reduces system pressure, and can leave entire communities without water. Johannesburg Water continues to remove illegal connections and strengthen monitoring across the network to protect supply. Residents are encouraged to report illegal connections or suspicious activity to the City of Johannesburg on 0800 002 587. Protect our water infrastructure. Protect our water supply. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water, a water and sanitation utility that cares.
We said, let's talk shop. And small business owners answered, from the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between. Now, 702 and MTN Business want to share their stories with you. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Listen to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa and the Afternoon Drive with John Perlman all week to meet the businesses doing big things. Hear what it really takes to build something from the ground up. And if you're listening thinking, that sounds like my business, go to primemediaplus.com now to enter or nominate a small business you know, because the next business we talk about could be yours. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. TCs and more on primemediaplus.com.
EWN Traffic.
12 minutes to 8, the CWN Traffic brought to you by the House of Citroen. The all-new Citroen Basalt is here. Book a test drive at citroen.co.za. Amo, you were telling us earlier about a crash in Benoni. Is this on the N12? You might want to crash the button so that it's on.
That's correct, Bongani. The
There
accident
we go. Now we can
is
hear you.
along the N12 West near Snake Road. It's causing delays, heavy traffic volumes, in fact, out of Patfontein Road. And Snake Road in the south is backed up due to roadwork, so please be on the lookout there. And then traveling on the N3 North, we've got queuing traffic on the N3 North. This is between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road. Queuing traffic along this route. This is peak time delays there. And then in Boksburg, roadworks are causing delays along the N17 West between Heidelberg Road and Osborne Road. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The all-new Citroen Basalt is here with keyless entry, wireless Apple and Android CarPlay. It's made to look good and make life easy. And that 470-litre boot, it's ready for every outfit change and then some. The all-new Citroen Basalt Coupe SUV from 354,000 Rand. Register now for the limited launch deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Book a test drive today at citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance, please tell me what's the question if the answer is Helen. Let's go to Shulani in Bramley. Shulani, what's the question?
The question is, who is the Democratic Alliance mayoral candidate in Joburg?
That is somebody called Helen, but not the Helen we are looking for today. Shulani Askisi. Mark in Rudaput, what's the question? Mark in Rudaput, what's the question?
Oh, hi, Bongani. Good morning. The answer to the question is, which role did Kimberly Elise play in The Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Yes, indeed. It is Kimberly Elise's birthday today, and it's the one character we remember her for, is it not? She was also in Oprah Winfrey's adaptation of Beloved, but I think everybody will always remember her as Helen in The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Mark, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I am a member, Bongani.
You remember, you biscuit.
Yeah.
2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to 702 and Outsurance. See, Mtanda, one of my producers, is reminding me that, of course, Kimberly Elise was also in Set It Off. My memory is a bit foggy about that, Sia, because that's the one movie I still haven't seen the conclusion of. I saw it in 1996, and there was the scene where I thought, basically, it's a movie about a group of women who rob a bank. And I thought they were going to be caught. And the tension was too much. My anxiety got the better of me. KG, I walked out of the cinema. To this day, I still haven't seen how the movie ends. I don't know if I ever will. But who will forget this scene with Kimberly Elise portraying Helen? The old Helen is gone.
Let me explain something to you. Old Helen is gone. And you will not talk to me like that. Now, I came here to help you, but now I'm gonna get even.
Helen.
Shut up! You want Brenda and your kids? Do you see what you left me for? This is what you left me for. She didn't give a damn about you, Charles. She told them to let you die. I was your wife. I loved you. I never would have hurt you. Why did you do this to me? To us? Answer me! And you know what's funny? I gave you life, even though you took it from me.
Old Helen is gone.
Outsurance is saving 27-year-old Liam big bucks on his car insurance.
Saving so much every month, around 640 Rand.
That's an awesome 640 Rand saving on Liam's 2020 Ford Ranger. And after 3 claim-free years, he gets an out bonus.
Definitely getting a lot out.
Get a quote now and see how much money Outsurance could save you. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The Clement Manyatela Show on 702.
The Clement Manyatela Show is about everything. It's about current affairs, family matters, the work environment, your health and wellness, relationship and sex issues that couples face. It's about learning, helping each other, healing, teaching. It's about life in essence. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is that we are quite intentional about doing life together. We're always pulling through for each other, learning from each other, always teaching each other. We're not scared to disagree, but also we're brave enough to be vulnerable with each other. We just care about each other, and I think that is priceless.
The Clement Manyatela Show, weekdays from 9 to 12 p.m.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Get a free optical frame when you get tested at Specsavers this April. Purchase a comprehensive eye examination and get your optical frame free up to the value of 1,000 Rand. Choose your free frame from our wide range of trendy, affordable styles. Get tested today at your nearest Specsavers or book online. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Don't you love these stories about entrepreneurs who have an idea and then they identify a gap in the market and they want to solve it? Well, coming up next, we meet another one of our finalists in the 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. Let's talk about a small business doing big things.
That's Finey before he got naked. Finey's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Finey got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Finey. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
So I've been meaning to tell you about your hair. You get it now.
I get it.
What do you do with unsolicited advice?
Yeah, so this is a great video. So I watched it and I was like, okay, is this maybe AI or something like that? And basically what it is, it's a montage of clips and little videos of old Italian men standing watching construction sites, and they have their hands behind their backs clasped and the fingers clasped together. And they're standing there watching things. And they will give unsolicited advice to the construction workers. And I was like, this is maybe a made-up thing. So it is actually a thing in Italy. It's called umarell, is what the term is called. And it's a Bolognese dialect term for retired men in Italy who spend their time watching construction sites, often with their hands clasped behind their backs, giving unsolicited advice to construction workers. And they've even made a square in Bologna in honor of after these guys, which is crazy. So it's a big thing in Italy that retired men do this. But I wanted to ask our 702 family this morning about unsolicited advice. How do you respond when somebody gives you advice that you haven't asked for? I've experienced many times when I've like, yeah, can I assist you with that or whatever. The look or the response from time to time can be quite like, you know what, stay in your lane kind of thing. So I wanted to find out, why do we respond negatively to unsolicited advice? And are you the kind of person who will go and give people advice? And what response do you generally get? And I mean, are there different situations that warrant or make it a little bit, let's say, more uncomfortable to receive the advice, or more favorable to receive the advice?
I think the clue is in unsolicited. You presumably think you're doing a reasonable job at whatever it may be, and that's why you don't ask for the advice. And so when somebody points out an error or a better way of doing whatever it is, you frankly couldn't give a left finger, because I didn't ask for your opinion, pal.
I just don't understand why one would get so upset about it. I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but if someone's going to offer me a little bit of advice, I will take it.
Who asked you?
Does it mean I'm gonna implement it?
Who asked you?
Listen, let me give you some advice.
How do you deal with... that is a joke. Kabazela and I get along fine.
We do. Although you did say something about my hair. I will see you afterwards.
After school. After school is after school.
Outside the playground, boy.
Yeah. Well, let's put it out there. Send us a WhatsApp voice note. I'd love to hear from first-time WhatsAppers or voice noters, what do you do with unsolicited advice?
702 feedback
with Rupfiwa.
Of course, Rupfiwa loves all sorts of advice, solicited or otherwise.
You know me. I do take unsolicited advice, Bongani. If somebody feels there's something I'm doing incorrectly, I'm humble enough to take whatever it is.
And often that person has a name that starts with a B and a surname that also starts with a B.
On a daily basis. And I think I take it even easier because of your life experience.
Oh, you're calling me old.
I said your life experience.
Wow. What feedback do you have?
Well, Bongani, listeners are reacting to your questions about mistakes and whether people should be able to accept them immediately. And listeners are actually referring to Julius Malema, mostly indicating that he should have, from the very get-go, realized that he made a mistake, admitted to it, apologized right there and then. And
can you think of a single example where he has done that?
And that's why
maybe got Jacob Zuma, or is it Thabo Mbeki that he said he was wrong about in retrospect?
I don't remember many instances where he has apologized, and I think that's the reason why people see him in the way that they do. They don't see him as a humble person who can admit his wrongs, and that's what makes it so difficult to like Julius, even when he says the right thing at
even
some
when
point.
People agree with him. We'll take more reaction to that and all the interviews and issues we've raised on the show. And of course, we meet the next finalist in our Small Business Awards. All of that to come after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Momentum. Financial advisors help you have a better shot at generational wealth. Speak to a Momentum accredited financial advisor. Momentum is part of the Momentum Group Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is EWN.
Gareth Nisi will respond to tender corruption allegations at the Madlanga Commission, and Julius Malema's legal woes might pile up as the Eastern Cape Premier is considering his own action against him. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Tswane's suspended Chief Financial Officer Gareth Nisi will finally testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Nisi has been implicated in alleged tender rigging and corruption in the metro. He was placed on precautionary suspension earlier this week for 3 months. Tabiso Koba reports.
When controversial cop Sergeant Fanny Nkosi appeared at the Madlanga Commission, WhatsApp chats between him and Tswane's CFO Gareth Mnisi were a matter of interest. From those chats, it shows Mnisi helped Nkosi's brother score a security tender from the municipality. It also showed the two shared lists of companies they wanted tenders to be awarded to. Mnisi also shared confidential documents with Nkosi, despite the fact that he wasn't employed at the municipality. In addition to being the CFO, Nisi was also chairperson of the city's bid adjudication committee, which plays a critical role in deciding which companies are awarded tenders at the municipality. Tabi Sokoba, Eyewitness News.
Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane has hit back at EFF leader Julius Malema's claims that he obtained a fraudulent university qualification. Malema told his supporters in the province yesterday that Mabuyane should be investigated for his master's degree from the University of Fort Hare. Mabuyane says he has instructed his lawyers to explore legal action against the EFF leader. Malema was speaking outside the Gukompo City Magistrates Court, where he was sentenced to 5 years in prison pending an appeal of his sentence. Nkosi Kona Malinga Mnisi reports.
Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane had enrolled for a master's in public administration at Fort Hare, but was deregistered in 2021 after the university found proper admission procedures were not followed. Mabuyane is challenging that decision in court, where the matter remains unresolved. He now appears set for another legal battle, this time with the Red Berets leader Julius Malema, whom he intends to sue for defamation. On X, Malema responded saying Mabuyane should go ahead. Mabuyane spokesperson Sonwabo Mbananga says Malema should focus on his own legal troubles instead of making false allegations.
South Africa is a constitutional democracy. No one is above the law and no one should weaponize falsehoods
for political gain.
Meanwhile, the ANC in the Eastern Cape has welcomed Mabuyane's move to pursue legal action. See Kona Malingamnisi Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, AfriForum has dismissed Malema's claims that the Afrikaans lobby group is targeting him on racial grounds. The organization opened a criminal case against Malema for firing a rifle in public in 2018. He was convicted last year for contravening gun laws. Alfara Mushwana reports from Gukompo.
EFF leader Julius Malema claims that both AfriForum and the magistrate in his firearm discharge case, Toinet Olivier, acted in a racist manner towards him.
Magistrate Olivier is a racist of note, and she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum.
We apologize for that soundbite. And the United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has welcomed the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon and urged all parties to fully respect the truce. The temporary truce was announced by U.S. President Donald Trump and took effect last night. The latest war started when the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran in February, and Lebanon was pulled in when Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel. Since then, Israeli strikes in Lebanon have killed more than 2,000 people and displaced more than 1 million others, while Israeli ground forces have invaded the country's south. Guterres spokesperson Stefan Dujarric says the UN chief hopes that the temporary halts to fighting will pave a way for negotiations. Gold's trading at $4,796.47 an ounce. The rand is at 16.42 to the dollar, 22.20 to the pound, 19.35 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $98.18 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays heading towards Parkmore. This is along Winnie Mandela Drive approaching Republic Road. There's also queuing traffic reported along Bram Fisher Avenue. This is due to an accident at Peter Place, so please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport and action-packed weekend of football, Banyana battles Algeria this afternoon. Sundowns 90 minutes away from the Champions League final. And on Sunday, Manchester City hope to close the gap on leaders Arsenal. In cricket, the Proteas women play India in a first T20 tonight. And in rugby, the URC continues this weekend, while in Hong Kong, the Blitzboks opened with a 5-point win over Uruguay this morning.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Tswane's suspended Chief Financial Officer Gareth Mnisi will finally testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone, so I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Calling all small business owners. It's the 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Enter now on Prime Media Plus. Let's talk shop.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
What a week it's been in South Africa, in our politics and public life. Today, of course, we get to find out a little bit of detail. Perhaps this is from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry as to whether the Chief Financial Officer of the city of Tshwane can explain where he got the money for all those cars. That Porsche Turbo 911, Muteo, that would be nice. BMW X6, a Golf 8, a Mercedes CLA, a number of Range Rovers, other BMWs. He is going to be on the witness stand today explaining some of his wealth and some of the allegations that have been leveled against him. The Eastern Cape Premier is still fighting this fraudulent qualification issue. He says he's going to explore legal action against the EFF leader. Oh, Oscar. You know, sometimes just Just be quiet. There's so much Julia said yesterday. I don't think the focus of what people will remember is what he said about Oscar Mabuyane, unless Oscar Mabuyane reminds them.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Kabazela wants to know, what do you do with unsolicited advice? Do you smile with patience and gentleness? Or do you tell the person to take several seats because who asked you? Muteo is a very big cap person, for example. Have you offered any advice to Amo about the cap she's wearing today? Which you can watch on YouTube.
If you only knew.
It's got flaps.
We've had a whole conversation around
it. It's almost like if you can imagine a cap that has ear flaps. So it's an ear muff and a cap combined. What do you think of Amo's cap, Mateo?
I think it's quite stylish. I think it's a woodcutter's cap.
Is that what you're saying on air?
No, we had a whole different fight about it.
What was the fight about the cap?
Unless she's willing to tell the story.
That I mustn't wear my husband's stuff. I must just leave it. Because this is not my cap.
I think it looks great on you.
Thank you.
I made a whole fuss because my wife also sometimes takes my caps when she's doing like a mall run or something. She's like, no, I didn't want to comb my hair, so I just grabbed your cap. And I'm like, but I already got you yours.
The people shall share. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. Let's take some calls on 011 883 0702. Your responses to all that we've raised on the show so far. Anything from whether or not the DA remains unelectable, as I argued a little earlier on, the EFF and their response to Julius Malema, his own response to his own sentencing, and professionals gunned down. And who are these killers targeting people in broad daylight? And would you shut up? What would you do? Kay, you're in Ivan Park. You want to talk about the DA?
Evans Park, yeah. Thank you, Bongani. I'd like to talk about the DA not being electable.
Yeah.
I differ with you because I think the people will say, you say that on air. You have said it even before the other elections, but the opposite happens. The results come in, the DA is still the second biggest party in the country. People will say, okay, we're not going to do this. But when they get into the booth, when they're alone and they know their reality, where they live, they go back and say, you know what? It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what we hear on radio.
Yeah.
But where we live and we see the difference that, where the DA governs, they do the best. The Auditor General's report comes out, the DA is on top.
Can I challenge you on your views, Kay?
Yeah, you can.
Under successive leaders, I made this point earlier, the DA has never garnered not even 25% of the vote. Even when the ANC, the party that's been the largest for decades in South Africa, has been at its weakest, with mass exodus of voters going to the EFF and MKP, none of those voters went to the DA. When has the DA ever been electable?
Bongani, as we speak right now, the ANC is sitting at 40%. It has reduced. It's like,
Precisely.
It is no longer
so wouldn't you have expected the DA then to increase?
The ANC is no longer the ruling party. The DA has, it has, I understand you're talking about the percentages or what.
Yeah.
But it is still remaining the second biggest party in the country. That is a fact.
Always the bridesmaid then, hey? Never the bride?
No, not a bridesmaid, but they are a contester. And a contester that is like, they are strong, whether we like it or not. But we must look at let us look at the realities of South Africa. No, we can't be now still be clinging to the whatever of the past of 30 years ago. No.
Okay. Okay, in Urban Park, not Ivan Park. Sindile, you're in Kagiso. You want to talk about Malema and the sentencing?
Yes, Bongani. The sentencing yesterday.
Sindile, I'm going to have to ask you to speak up just a little more clearly. You're barely audible.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Much better, much better. Were we on speaker?
No, I'm not in a speaker. Maybe the place that I'm in. Maybe the place that I'm in.
I'll sentence you. All right, talk to me.
I am a EFF member. We've been sentenced enough, Bongani. Don't do that.
Whippy.
Yeah, no, listen, Bongani. You know, I would say the judgment of him being guilty of shooting the gun, for me personally, the judgment is correct. Because if you do that, you need to be punished. Although it happened 8 years ago when EFF was still 5 years old. But the sentencing itself, I would say it's a bit harsh. You know, people are making all sorts of examples about killers, gangsters, and all those things. The person who shot a gun 8 years ago, I believe that is unfair. But you asked a question earlier about the character of Malema. It's perfectly in its right to be what he's saying yesterday, and we all know the character of Malema. It didn't change yesterday. He's saying what his views are, and there's a democratic right to say and criticize whoever. Even the judge are criticized. People are making this assumption that he is not doing himself any favors by criticizing a judge. It's like the judges are holding grudges now. I'm going to say, because you've criticized one of our own, we're going to punish you further. It's a democratic right that is in the Constitution, that it's a freedom of speech as well.
Would the criticism then not be about the merits of the case when it then spills over to casting aspersions about the person of the magistrate, the person behind the decision? Doesn't that take it to a different terrain?
That is his opinion. He can take it wherever it goes, Bongani, but that is his opinion. And I actually made an observation when Ngogaithupa was mentioning AfriForum myself. I even phoned Africa Malani's show to say the judge was triggered when he started mentioning that. So if he feels that the judge is onto something, or somebody is whispering in his ear that this is happening, why it doesn't say? He will fight it through the court. He even said we'll take the charges on because of his biasness in this whole case for the past 8 years. So it's his right to say that. And one thing, Bongani, just before I go, you say people are calling you the EFF member, GM. I don't think anybody has ever called you an EFF member. They will be making a big mistake, because we all know how you feel about the EFF, especially my.
Oh no, I'll tell you why. Because I agree with the EFF on its positions on Pan-Africanism, for example. And so they'll often say, I'm a foreigner myself. That's why I support the EFF. And unlike you, Sindile, member and supporter of the EFF as you claim to be, I had a hard time swallowing the conviction and the idea that this is what he might go to jail for. And I know what the law says, but I've had a tough time to think that, gosh, of all the things that he's been accused of, this is the one they want to send him behind bars for. I've had a tough time swallowing that, but it is what it is. So that was the context.
That's not blame Malema when he says there's a motive behind. Because if you had a tough time of swallowing it, think about him.
Oh, but I can explain. I can explain what my tough time is not the same as his.
Yeah. You're not in the same place as him. That's why your tough time will never be the same as him. He's a father. He's fighting for his life, this man.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my position came from the fact that I know so many uncles in communities I've grown up in who've done exactly this kind of thing. And of course it is against the law, and that's clear. But goodness me, if my uncle had gone to jail for, a minimum of 5 years, I would have been shocked. And that's why I struggled, because I've seen this kind of thing in our communities. James, very quickly, in Joburg CBD.
Yeah, I'm saying that, when we say this thing, the phrasing must be correct. It's not correct to say people don't agree with Julius Malema. It must be saying some. And then another thing, Romani, because Julius Malema was found guilty today, it's like he's the worst person in the world. He's still appealing his case. And then if you say he's the worst person, I'm not saying necessarily you say that. Those who are saying that, they don't agree with him because he didn't apologize. Who apologized? I don't remember Helen Zille apologizing for saying that black people from the Eastern Cape are refugees in the.
Oh, she would never apologize for that.
Exactly. I mean, like that. And this corruption that we see in the Matlanga Commission and this other big one that there were no follow-ups. There were no apologies. And 702.
The difference,
and 702.
James, hold on.
Okay.
The difference, though, is if you are. So, for example, he's not appealing his conviction. He's appealing how he is to be punished for the crime he's been found guilty of. And part of what you want to do, if you want, hopefully, a lighter sentence, is to be a little contrite and a little repentant. And usually, the courts are a little kinder in the punishment they mete out. I think that's the context of the apology.
No, he's appealing both the conviction and the sentence.
No,
it's just that the
you
magistrate
can't appeal the conviction. He's not been given leave to appeal.
No, it's
that.
going to a petition. Yeah, you're right. It's going to petition, for the conviction, but it's going to appeal the sentence. Do you understand? So all I'm saying is, 72 Bongani, with greatest of respect, it's a very small radio station. It doesn't represent the demography of South Africa. 10 people cannot come and be. But what I'm saying is, 72 cannot. 10 people or less than 10 people
never
cannot call.
to.
No, it's fine. I'm happy that you didn't. But I'm
So
saying
the issue doesn't arise.
Few people. No, it arises because that people are getting the impression that Julius Malema is hated. Those who are listening. So I'm speaking to them. I'm saying that few people cannot call with an anti-Julius Malema tirade and then concluded that Julius Malema is the most hated person in the world. Because some of us were asking, those who say he's a worst politician, they're comparing him with who? Do you understand? Which politician is better than him? Is it Julius Malema? Is it Helen Zille? Now the according to black people, they don't want black people to have access to Western Cape. And there's a guy there who's talking for Cape independence. Who wants South Africa, Western Cape to secede?
James,
Why is he not charged?
I think
Thank you.
you've had your say. You're conflating quite a few issues there. But if nothing else, I will say this. We've never claimed to be the biggest voice or the voice of South Africa. We're one of many. And that's why anybody can call in, whether they agree with us or not.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 451442 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Delays on the M1 North. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. In the Omondi area, just as you approach Xavier Street, an accident is reported there. It's causing about a 15-minute hold-up. Please be on the lookout. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. Peak time delays there, while in Bryanston, we still have got that accident reported on Bram Fisher Drive right near Peter Place. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Sitting in a traffic jam is as fun as the office printer jamming just before you print the last page. Panic stations. But fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are on the roads easing traffic congestion so everyone can get to where they need to be quickly and safely. And they've been doing it for 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. This conversation is just the beginning.
Oh man, I've been loving all the stories of our entrepreneurs, those who identify problems, have the gumption to try and solve them and stick out their solutions. So for most of us, a staircase is not even something we really notice, but if you need wheelchair access, it can mean a stop sign. Quite literally. Across South Africa, of course, mobility is not just about movement, it is about access to homes, to schools, to work, to life. I remember a couple of years ago, I did the wheelchair challenge. I spent an entire weekend in a wheelchair in public spaces, and I can tell you it was very, very difficult. Well, our next entrepreneur is Mongezi Majenge, who is trying to make sure, Majenge, am I correct?
Yes.
Mongezi Majenge, who is trying to make sure that mobility solutions mean access for all. A very good morning, Mongezi.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, good, good. Tell us your story.
Wow, the wheelchair, thank you so much. My name is Ernest. The wheelchair, I'm the founder of the Wheelchair Doctor, the company that I started while I was a student.
So your name is not Mongezi?
It's Mongezi.
Oh.
In the street, they know me the Wheelchair Doctor.
Okay.
I've accepted, So, I was in a program where they were teaching us how do you take an idea from nothing until it become a successful product. So during that program, then they taught us something which is a problem validation. The first thing that they taught us is go out there and find a problem that you need to be solving. So I was staying in Soweto by then I went to one of the schools in Soweto. It's called Takalani Special School. It's a school for special needs. So and then I went there. When I get there, I was amazed of the struggle of the wheelchair user, like they go through on a daily basis. So like that's how the wheelchair doctor started.
So what is the wheelchair doctor?
The wheelchair doctor is a company that design, innovate, and manufacture wheelchairs, like based on the people's disability and the environment they stay in.
Because people often think one wheelchair is one size fits all.
Exactly. Even like your disability differ from one person to another. So like we have one type of a wheelchair. Even your disability requires another type, like a special
What are the
design.
different types of wheelchairs? How can they be different from each other?
It's like we have your standard wheelchair. Your standard wheelchair, normally it's like the wheelchair that you see on a daily basis. Then we have like your light wheelchair. People that they prefer like the lighter one because the other ones are too heavy. We have like wheelchair for sports. Then we have like depends on like what type of disability do you have. So like
Well, you're certainly solving a problem many South Africans would overlook. Congratulations, wheelchair doctor, for being a finalist in the Small Business Awards with MTN. We hope that you will get far, that you will move with speed and success. Stay listening to 702, the afternoon drive, where you will meet the next finalist in the Small Business Awards with MTN.
The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam will do two stories today. Tell me about the damages for a cruise ship passenger. What, did they force down these tequila shots down their throat?
No, she drank them all willingly. We talked about this when the legal case began. It's now been concluded. Diana Sanders, she was she drank 14 shots of tequila on board the Carnival Radiance during a 9-hour period. So spaced out a bit, but she was certainly afterwards. But when she left one of the ship's bars, she fell down some stairs, suffered concussion, some back injuries, some trauma, and she wasn't found for some time in the stairwell. She is now in a Miami court by jury being awarded $300,000 in damages, 5 million rand, more or less, which is actually 6 times what she was seeking. Diana Sanders is a nurse. She actually did accept some responsibility for overdoing it. After all, nobody forced her. But the jury concluded that the cruise ship should not have kept serving her when she was clearly intoxicated. There is a duty of care thing, which puts a whole question over the all-inclusive drink packages that you get on liners and in certain hotels and so forth. But also, I mean, I find it very odd that somehow it's somebody else's fault. But then I guess we're talking about litigious Florida/America, aren't we?
I'm sure she'll drink to that. Tell me about Iran's diss videos, as the young people call them.
Yeah, this is the AI digital war between the United States and Iran is weird. I mean, it just is weird. If you took this back in time and showed it to somebody, I can't imagine what my father or my grandparents would have made of this. Anyway, here we have Donald Trump and Jesus Christ. What is it about this? So Donald Trump's own Truth Social messages. We know we've had him looking like Jesus healing the sick, even though he insisted he's a doctor. He looks like Jesus healing the sick, since deleted. One of him dressed as the Pope with his finger raised, since disappeared. Now one of the president being hugged by Jesus, both of them with their eyes closed, the US flag fluttering behind. It's caused a furore, not just amongst normal people, but amongst Trump supporters, specifically those following him on Truth Social. Pope Leo, by the way, is not best pleased about those images. Now enter the Iranian embassy in Tajikistan, which is a little bit out there, but anyway, they have produced their own sacrilegious AI video of Donald Trump having his head punched off by Jesus and cast down screaming into a fiery hell. It's a digital AI war, and I suppose at some point it will end, and then Donald Trump can tell us that he's solved another war. But it's a very, very weird take on the whole thing.
Indeed. I suppose in Tehran, it's probably many a person's prayer about the end of Donald Trump. We'll leave it there for this morning's Worldview with Adam Gilchrist.
EWN Business.
Mateo Kharipa, 28 after 8. The international bank Citigroup saying Treasury should extend fuel relief for motorists and consumers.
Yeah, Citigroup says Treasury should consider extending its buffer for higher oil prices. Treasury has put temporary measures to cushion local consumers from the impact of higher fuel prices, shaving the general fuel levy by R3 until May. Now, according to MoneyWeb, the bank's economists say the National Treasury has the fiscal space to extend its fuel levy relief for May and even into June if oil prices remain elevated around or above the $100 a barrel mark. This week, the Central Energy Fund showed that motorists and other fuel users are in for more pain in May, with diesel prices said to go up by R9 a litre, hitting R35 per litre around May.
Good news on the labour front at Eskom, some at least.
Yes, two of South Africa's major labour unions have accepted Eskom's 7% wage increase offer, while a third has rejected it and declared a deadlock. Now, last year, Eskom began pay talks with the National Union of Mine Workers, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, and Solidarity, with several rounds of negotiations taking place. The utilities' final offer was a 7% pay increase in each of the 3 years under negotiation, effective from July 2026. Now, NUM has accepted that particular offer, with Solidarity following suit, while NUMSA members, on the other hand, are digging in their heels, demanding 8% in the first year, and NUMSA, of course, declaring a deadlock.
Your indicators?
The rand at R16.42 against the US dollar, R19.34 against the euro, R22.19 against the British pound. Price of gold up slightly this morning, $4,791 an ounce, while platinum is at $2,094. Brent crude is up more than 0.5% at $98 a barrel. I'll bring you the wrap of the week in business later this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu. Let's talk about the Eastern Cape Judge President.
Well, Bongani, reaction. The Judges Matter has welcomed the Judicial Service Commission's finding that Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge is guilty of gross misconduct. This relates to a complaint of sexual harassment by his former secretary, Andiswa Mengo, with the JSE, concluding that Mbenenge's conduct was inappropriate and incompatible with the standards expected of judicial office. The Commission will now refer its findings to the National Assembly, which is a move that could trigger proceedings to remove him from office. Mongezi Koko reports.
The JSE found that Mbenenge pursued a relationship of a sexual nature with Mengo despite a clear power imbalance and failed to appreciate the responsibilities of his position. It also criticized an earlier tribunal finding, saying it understated the seriousness of the conduct and failed to properly account for power dynamics. The Commission says the conduct undermines core values of the judiciary, including integrity, accountability and public trust. Researcher, Judges Matter, Mbegezeli Benjamin.
The JSE's finding shows that it does take misconduct, especially of a sexual nature, seriously.
The matter now shifts to Parliament, where lawmakers will decide whether to support his removal from office. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
Residents in Duduza on the East Rand have blocked the R550 with burning tires, protesting over prolonged power outages. Some say they've been without electricity for almost 2 months. Infrastructure faults, overloaded networks and illegal connections, which have been over the years, place strain on the local grid. EMPD spokesperson Lerato Munyane says motorists are being advised to avoid the R550.
Currently, the EMPD officers are monitoring the scene and urge motorists to be vigilant when approaching the scene or use alternative routes.
Staying with Ekurhuleni matters, the Metro Police's Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi has been asked about his alleged rogue unit of officers and private security guards. Mkhwanazi is accused of operating an off-the-books structure that's involved in an extortion and hijacking racket and operates outside the jurisdiction of Ekurhuleni. Mkhwanazi, along with 2 other officers, are under investigation by police watchdog IPID on charges of murder, theft and hijacking. Tabiso Koba reports.
From the Madlanga Commission, a picture of this alleged rogue unit has started to form. It includes EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, EMPD Constables Keisha Stolls and Aiden McKenzie, plus also private security guard Etienne van der Walt. The four were all present when robbery suspect Emmanuel Mbenze was tortured to death and his body later dumped at a dam in Germiston. The group was also together in Hillbrow, Johannesburg, when they supposedly confiscated precious gemstones from a dealer worth over 14 million rand and did not book them in as evidence. Co-Commissioner Sandile Khumalo says the three officers also have a knack for giving untruthful statements to IPID investigators.
There's a pattern of behavior between you, Stolz, and McKenzie. It's the same issue with the Brakpan murder and the same issue with the Kilani Rosebank incident, where you seem to be protecting each other. You don't place each other on the scene unless evidence is shown that you were there, and only then do you admit that, yes, I was there.
Mkhwanazi has denied the existence of this alleged rogue units. He returns to the Madlanga Commission at a later date. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And Scotland-based accusers of convicted paedophile Ian Weyers have described seeing him again as spooky, confusing and deeply upsetting. Weyers is facing 90 charges related to the sexual and physical abuse of more than 60 boys in the United Kingdom, dating back over more than 5 decades ago during his time as a teacher in Scotland. The 86-year-old extradition hearing in Simonstown Magistrates Court has been postponed to later this month. Ntutu Zelonene reports.
3 of Ian Weyers' accusers from Scotland travelled to Cape Town to attend his court appearance. George Scott says seeing his abuser for the first time in nearly 5 decades was unsettling.
It's quite spooky just seeing that face in person. It's 48 years ago in my case, but I'm still kind of processing that.
Roy Harangi says he felt a sense of satisfaction seeing Wes in court.
It's been 51 years since I've seen that monster. I had to come here to confront my demons, and I did just that.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 14 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 25 and 27 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 North approaching Xavier Street. This is due to an accident. There's also an accident reported in Boksburg along the N17 West. It's right near Osborne Road. Delays from Heidelberg Road. Also remember the roadworks that are taking place along that route causing delays.
The top story in this hour, Judges Matter has welcomed the Judicial Service Commission's finding that Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge is guilty of gross misconduct.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Do we expect Julius Malema to take this on appeal on sentencing? Does he risk getting a higher sentence potentially?
He does risk that a higher sentence may be applied to him.
What were the options open to the magistrate?
To an extent, the problem for Mr. Malema was really count one. We were always going to have a situation where there should have been some number of years. The other options that were there, we've seen in count 3, 4, and 5 that there was the option of a fine.
Benedict Perry.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Imagine waking up to a new European destination every day. The gentle sea breeze in your hair and the freedom to explore the world at your own pace. The best way to see the world by sea is with NCL. Explore Europe in style aboard 22 different NCL ships sailing to over 400 dream destinations. Enjoy award-winning experiences on board, from indulgent spa moments to world-class dining across more than 20 restaurants, and even the only racetracks at sea. It's this level of experience that has seen NCL named Europe's leading cruise line for 18 consecutive years at the World Travel Awards. So book your European getaway now with 50% off all NCL cruises. Visit ncl.com or contact your nearest travel agent. T's and C's apply.
Evolution doesn't wait. Introducing the Changan Uni S. Unexpected, unmistakable, uncompromising. Engineered to a higher standard, unlike anything in its class. Unsurprising really from China's oldest automaker. Trusted by 30 million drivers worldwide. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more. The Changan Uni S.
Changan. Driven to evolve.
No one gets fit overnight. It takes discipline, and your money is no different. A Nedbank 32-day notice account helps you build financial strength with up to 7.3% interest and zero maintenance fees. The higher the deposit, the higher the return. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. For more information, go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani. This is Tsutsumani. Bongani, I'm generally not a mean person. I take unsolicited advice anytime, really. You know, yeah, there's no need to be cocky about it. Just take an advice, yeah, and see what it does to you. Know, maybe it will help you. You know, that's how I take it. Thank you.
Hi guys, Michelle here. So nobody knows better how to raise kids and wants to tell you how to raise your kids than people that don't have kids. I have learned over the years to very sincerely say, oh, thank you for your advice. I've never thought about that. And then completely ignore them after that. Have a good one.
702 lenders. Happy Friday. So with regards to unsolicited advice, I'm Xhosa, so my aunts are out of order, okay? They'll tell you that, oh, Jebile, oh, you've gained weight, blah, 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 every December, right? That's okay. I've grown to get used to it. But when it comes to colleagues and pocket watching and unsolicited advice, I'm sorry. I tell them where to get off. I give them one-liners and they stay in their lane. I don't take that type of nonsense. Unsolicited advice, it grates my nipples. I'm sorry.
I absolutely hate unsolicited advice. It's more about the person giving their advice and how they want to appear as knowledgeable as I know better than it is about actually giving it to you. I'm a mom, and you can imagine how much unsolicited advice I get from people who don't know my children. I understand if it's advice coming from people who are my family or people that are friends with me, people who are close to us, understand our lives, but strangers in the streets trying to give me advice about do this, do that. No, leave me alone.
Family are the worst at times. Don't get me going about that, especially when it comes to your children, right? Their nieces and nephews. And they'll make an observation. Sometimes it could be even about physical appearance. A question you haven't raised. And they'll say, oh, you know, Amo, you really need to do this. Have you tried this for so-and-so, for your little one? And you're thinking, who asked you? Who says that's even a concern? Right? Don't get me going. We're talking about unsolicited advice. Do you welcome it? We, of course, Cindy Paluta, you'll attest to this. We work in jobs that everybody thinks they can do. And so they try and tell us how to do it.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword. So we work in an industry where our job is to give our opinion. Because right now you've asked me for my opinion, right? Yeah. Not necessarily advice, but opinion. So it's very hard to not give an opinion or advice when somebody comes forward with a problem, you know, to try and sort out their solutions, because that's kind of the job that we're in. The highlight of my career recently, the most recent top of mind one, was last year, and I can't remember which work event I was at, but a listener was there and he criticized the fact that I don't really cover Formula One. And I was like, okay. And then he even said to me, like, who do you even support? And I said, Kimi Antonelli. I think Kimi Antonelli is absolutely phenomenal and I think he's great. And this is last season. He said, oh, Mercedes going to get rid of him at the end of the season because he's not the right fit. And he hasn't replaced Hamilton well. And I wish I had taken a photo of the man and kept a number or whatever. Because when Kimi Antonelli won 2 Grand Prix this year, I was like, I know what I'm talking about. He remembered you.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully he's listening now.
Well, yeah. And hopefully wherever
all
he
shades
is,
of red.
And every time Kimi Antonelli wins, he thinks of like, oh, geez, that lady was right.
Yeah.
That lady doing the man's job was right.
Oh.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. I'm Zinkita, and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I hope you have a lovely Friday.
Aww.
EWN Sport.
Wow. All the way from Melbourne, hey? Nice to hear from you too.
So
we hope
cute.
you have a lovely Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if you're in Hong Kong,
Well, no, if you're a Banyana fan, because Banyana are in action this afternoon. So come back from Hong Kong. Come to Banyana in action today at 3 this afternoon. They're playing Algeria in a second friendly, all in preparation for WAFCON. Striker Linda Moklalo.
Yes, we've got a little glimpse of how they play. We've got an idea. And we've seen how they approach the game. It was so different, first half and second half. So I think we are ready. We have analyzed them. So I think we know how we're going to approach the game.
Thank goodness it's the weekend. Mamelodi Sundowns defender Keanu Cupido says they can't be complacent in tomorrow's second leg Champions League semi-final with Esperance. The game is at Loftus. It kicks off at 3 o'clock and Sundowns have just posted on their socials to say the game is sold out. So please don't go to the game if you don't have tickets. And if you have got tickets, you're part of that sellout crowd and that's going to be so awesome. Here's Keanu Cupido.
We know it's not going to be an easy game, especially them needing to get a goal also. We have one foot in, but we also know it's not easy. We have to work hard as a team. We shouldn't think about the previous game. It's a new game for us as well. So we want to also win this game.
In the Premiership tonight, Stellenbosch hosting Skekone. Tomorrow, Pirates against Amazulu Chiefs away at Polokwane. We'll pick up the Premier League action Sunday where Manchester City's looking to close that 6-point gap on leaders Arsenal. Gunners captain Declan Rice.
Been in really good form recently. No one's going to hand you anything in this league. Like you said, there's been a lot of noise, but ultimately it's down to us as players. That's why we're professionals. That's why we do this game. And yeah, to go there and win will be a massive statement. And look, these boys are ready. We've spoke as a group. We know what's required. So yeah, bring it on.
Tomorrow, Everton host Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. Manchester United against Chelsea. Lionel Messi and the Argentina FA faces a lawsuit for fraud and breach of contract. It's alleged Messi broke a $7 million contract by failing to play Venezuela in an exhibition match. I did read a stat though somewhere that was like he probably made 7 million like just as he opened his eyes this morning.
So why go up and go play?
How much they want? Okay, it's worth it. I'll pay it. I missed the match. The Proteas women play India tonight in the first of 5 T20s. Captain Laura Wolfart.
I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, they're a great side. They've come off a lot of T20 cricket. They had a WPL recently. So yeah, it's an awesome challenge for us and hopefully we're able to play some good cricket.
Live ODI cricket, New Zealand elected to bat. They were 92-1 after 9 overs against Bangladesh. At the IPL, wow, Quinton de Kock, 112 unbeaten off 60, but his Mumbai Indians still lost to Punjab Kings by 7 wickets. At the Hong Kong Sevens, the Blitzboks beat Uruguay 12-7 in their first game. They play Spain in 3 minutes' time. And Argentina tomorrow, the women thrashed by Australia 33-0. And there's United Rugby Championship action. It starts tonight. The Bulls are away at Dragons. Tomorrow, get down to Ellis Park because the Lions are hosting Glasgow. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. That's after the Stormers have played Connacht and before the Sharks battle Ospreys. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
That's Kefense, before she got naked. Kefense's premium went up twice last year, and she was more confused than when her ex said, "I need to find myself," and then found somebody else. So Kefense got naked. She got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Good for you, Kefense. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
The Audi Open House Sales event is here and you're invited. Come test drive a wide range of Audi models, take advantage of exclusive offers, and stand a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Formula One, courtesy of Audi. The Audi Open House Sales event is now on until 30th of April at Audi dealerships nationwide. Book your test drive today at audi.co.za. Terms and conditions apply.
EWN Traffic.
13 minutes before 9, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays on the M1 North. This is on towards Xavier Street. That's due to an accident in the Omondi area. There's also queuing traffic towards the Crown Interchange. Another accident seen there while traveling in Boksburg. Please be on the lookout for delays between the Heidelberg Road exit and Osborne Road. That's on the N17. An accident as well as roadworks there causing those delays. About a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout. More updates at the top of the hour. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Some returns are worth the wait. Your favorite band, that binge-worthy series. And now, the return of Motor Select's Demo Deal Dash. From this Thursday, 16 April to Saturday, 18 April, get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist on any demo model. Hurry to motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership nationwide. 3 days, one big return. T's and C's apply.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
So I've just had a conversation with Clement Manyatela, and I want to consider the history of discharging firearms in the air in South Africa. I'm very clear on what the law says and our gun issues now. But historically, especially if you go back to the colonial period, whether it's Mushweshwe or Sekhukhune or Cetshwayo, all these kings, these African kings, wanted European guns, from the muskets to the whatever you want to call them, right? If you go back to Kimberley, when they discovered diamonds, chiefs sent people to go work on those mines in exchange for what? What were they going to do with money, with European money? They didn't need money. They wanted guns. And obviously, in the various colonial wars of conquest, their guns would often be outdated. They wouldn't have the gunsmiths to help look after the weapons. And so they kept losing. But it was a symbol of power. And how do you let everyone around you know that you now have these weapons and you are powerful and you are important?
Yeah.
But I suppose the difficulty is you can't make that argument if you're saying it's a toy.
Yes, but also I think people have been engaging with guns differently also over time. I get that historical significance, but I don't think it's relevant with Julius Malema because having watched, I've seen people celebrate, and their way of celebrating is to fire in the sky, right?
Certain deputy mayors.
Yes, they do you remember her? Emakhaya, that was even worse. So that's like a form of celebration. So it's evolved over time. But the difficulty I have here, Bongani, and this is what I want to discuss with the listeners today, is this matter takes me back to the time when the Constitutional Court sentenced Jacob Zuma to prison. Because we had the same debate. It was unprecedented. We didn't have any case law we could reference where there is direct imprisonment for contempt of court like that. And people were asking, isn't this a harsh sentence? But what do you expect the court to do
Somebody must be
when
first.
someone doesn't engage with the Constitutional Court and says, I'm not coming to even file papers? What do you do in the case of Julius Malema when the evidence has been there? Here is the video of you shooting.
Ballistics.
Here's a ballistic expert who says live ammunition, and yet you still want to say it's a toy gun. So you're not showing any remorse. So how do we move from that? So that's going to be our conversation on the open line this morning. I also want to tell the listeners about this wild story I've ever read. I don't know if you saw it on News 24. This guy who went to a graduation ceremony and got on stage when they called a classmate's name. He failed. He is not eligible to graduate, but he still invited his parents because he said he was too scared to tell them that he has failed. So he arrived and he checks in with a classmate's name. When they call the classmate's name, he goes on stage and he even posts pictures saying hard work pays. This is the wildest thing I've ever heard. I'm trying to get the university to come on the show to explain. Also, how do they let someone else, because this is a man who has pretended to be this lady. The names are completely different.
And his family doesn't know what his name is?
Hey, if family probably said, we didn't hear properly, but that's our child going on stage.
Amen.
At 10 o'clock, though, we're going to do the Across the Desk feature. Today, I'm hosting private security companies. And then at 11 o'clock, we do our relationship feature. We'll be discussing how to navigate significant age gaps in relationships.
Ooh, Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. You're looking at me like that. Do you want to say anything?
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Oh man, if you saw it last year, you would remember just how stunning this production was. The Universe on Stage, returning now in a two-part experience, turning science into something that you don't just learn, but you feel. It starts, of course, with Celestial Bodies, this contemporary ballet we've been telling you about at UJ, and then the main event, the Black Hole Symphony at the Wits Linda Auditorium. This is a full orchestra, live narration, visuals, all built around one of the most extreme ideas in physics, black holes, places where gravity is so strong not even light escapes, and where time itself is believed to behave differently. I saw this production at the Linda Auditorium last year. Dr. Luca Pontidja is the physicist and, of course, the coordinator of the Universe on Stage, and joins us now. Dr. Pontidja, very good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
How's it, Bongani? Thank you.
What a fantastic production this was, and I guess it's backed by popular demand.
It is. We were pushing above our weight last year, trying to sell 2,000 tickets in a niche that maybe isn't always very popular, but we just went for it because we believe in the product. And there was so much demand that we said we got to do it again, and we have put another 3 shows, and we almost sold out as well. So. No, it's incredible.
Are you adding any new dimensions, excuse the pun, or elements to the production?
We have added 3 new songs. So we've replaced 3 songs, we're changing some more songs. And we've altered the storyline ever so slightly to make it a bit more polished. Every time you do a production, you can always improve it and make it better. And this time I would say it's a much more polished. The scripting, the visuals, the music all come together in a far more blended way. Just elevating the performance even more.
I mean, where do you draw the line between artistic interpretation and creativity and, of course, scientific accuracy in terms of the subject matter?
I think, Bongani, it's about finding what is the scientific point you want to make. So if I want to explain what black holes into the extreme level of space and time and Penrose diagrams, I can do that. But what's the point? I'm going to lose a lot of the people. But if I explain black holes in terms of the connection that they have to the universe and the connection they have to humanity, that is a scientific plausible sort of argument that I'm making, and I'm not diminishing anything. I'm just changing the narrative of what I want to focus on. So it's about finding the right scientific narrative to focus on so that I'm making the connections in your brain to this thing which feels distant and now is connected to you as a human being.
And of course, it's a timely event because we've had, 4 astronauts freshly returned from space. I mean,
Artemis 2,
this remains a fascinating idea and an endeavor for humanity, space exploration.
It is. I think there's something just so naturally wondrous about what is out there. You look up at the sky and you think it's huge, but you don't understand the scale of it. And you see these astronauts going out into the moon, and you see this tiny little blue sphere, and is suspended in this just vast darkness, and that is 0.0,000. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to the scale of the universe. And I think when you just admire just how big and how small we are, and it does something to your spirit. I don't know. It lights me up, to be honest.
Do you think we're alone in the world?
No, I don't think so.
Statistically, I don't think it's possible. All right, tell me the 2 dates. The 23rd and 25th of April, right?
23rd and 25th of April, yes. We have 2 shows on 25th, afternoon and evening, and then the 23rd, which is a Thursday night, will be at 7:30.
All right, that's happening at the Wits Linda Auditorium, the Black Hole Symphony. If you saw it last year, you'll want to return. And if you missed it last year, make sure you don't miss it this time.
Running a truck fleet business in this economy is tough. Fuel, maintenance, staff, the costs never stop. That's why I switched to My Way Business Insurance. Now I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. These savings go a long way to keeping my fleet on the move.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and
Save up to 20% on your trucks and buses. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
Are you a legal practitioner looking to do your mediation course? Come and train in mediation with the Law Society of South Africa, the preferred leader in legal education with over 35 years of experience. We also offer advanced training, specialized skills development, and continuous legal education to ensure legal practitioners excel with competence and integrity. Stay ahead in your profession. Explore more courses at lssa.org.za. The Law Society of South Africa, leaders in legal education.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, an adventure-packed tour, or a luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your center for travel. We make travel easy, affordable, and stress-free. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive traveler perks with our frequent flighty rewards program. Flight Centre's got you covered. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or online at flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your center for travel.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Morning, Bongani. I was really looking forward to listening to the political desk after yesterday's political events, but I'm disappointed by the guests you brought. Polly and Julius's one is always going to be personal. There will never be some sort of subjectivity when you either speak of the other. Yeah, it would have been more refreshing to hear somebody a little bit more neutral, somebody a little bit more uninvolved, so we could get like a proper political analysis of the situation. Because we know with Paul, it's always going to go one side, So, yeah, hopefully in the future we do get somebody who does come on and speaks about it in a more neutral way. Thank you.
I think that's a fair criticism. I think our philosophical perspective was to try and say, looking at the character of the man and the personality involved, based on what else has been alleged, how is it that it's this that might finally scupper his political career? And somebody who's written a biography about Malema, which he has never challenged, we thought might offer a perspective on that. But point taken. Point noted. And that brings us to the end of a very, very hectic week on 702 Breakfast. You have yourselves a fantastic weekend. I hope Arsenal takes it away on Sunday. We'll find out on Monday whether I'm in tears of joy or sadness. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Tswane's suspended Chief Financial Officer Gareth Mnisi will respond to corruption allegations against him at the Madlanga Commission today. Mnisi has been implicated in alleged tender rigging at the Metro by steering the awarding of contracts to his preferred bidders.